Well, welcome into the broadcast, everybody. We're coming to you live from Hermon Brothers Field here in Palmer, Alaska. It's the Matsu Miners playing host to the Peninsula Oilers. Brady Corrigan on the mound for the Miners as they look to take the top place in the ABL, as they're only a half game back from the Peninsula Oilers. The standings right now, the Oilers standing at 12-7, and the Miners at 11-8 after falling behind a half game after losing to the Bucks 3-0. In that game, the Bats were not present, but in the game before against the Oilers, 17 runs, 12 of them coming in the first inning, as the Miners hope to do something close to that today. Starting lineup for the Peninsula Oilers. Leading things off, Paul Kunst out of the University of San Diego. From San Diego State, Brian Leonhardt. He bats second. In the third hole, from Cal State Bakersfield, Ryan Cook. The cleanup man from Murray State University, Grant Wood. Batting fifth out of Cal State Bakersfield, Evan Berkey. Batting sixth from St. Mary's University, Ryan Novus. Batting seventh out of California Polytechnic San Luis Obispo, John McKay. Batting eighth, Bryce Bigel from the University of Arizona. And rounding things out at the bottom, batting ninth, Matthew Kirk out of Moorhead State College. The pitcher for them, Ryan Silva out of California Baptist University. Head coach Kyle Brown, Ryan Duran, the pitching coach, and Rolando Sanchez, the hitting coach. Their general manager, Torrey Smith. And as we said, on the mound for the Matsu Miners, Brady Corrigan. Corrigan out of the Arizona State, a freshman there from Plainfield, Illinois. His first pitch is high and inside to Paul Kunst. We are underway here in the top of the first inning. Corrigan, the big righty. The 1-0 pitch. This is popped up, fouled towards the right side and out of play. People looking up, but that goes right over the bleachers.
Corrigan, his delivery is very mechanical and not a lot to it. Very simple, really rhythmatic.
1-1 count into Paul Kunst, taking inside for ball two. And Corrigan so far this season has a win on his record. ERA at 3.85. Appeared in 3 games, started all 3, has gone 14 innings, has 9 strikeouts, but 7 walks. As this one is poked out into left field, Danny Wright, making his first start in a while, comes over, makes one-hand grab, and that's the first out of the inning. Defensive alignment for your Matsu Miners, Danny Wright, he's in left, Kona Quiggle in center, and Austin Pinerini in right. Infield from left to right, Tyler Passetti, he's at third. Swift, he is, of course, at short. Connor Denning making a start today at second base, and Spencer Henson at first. The battery mates, Brady Corrigan and David Avitia. First pitch into Brian Leonhardt is swung on and missed for strike one. Corrigan on the season, this is the first time facing the Oilers, has faced the Pilots twice and the Bucks once. As his pitch is lifted out into center field, first steps were back from Quiggle. He moves in now, makes one-hand grab. Now there are 2 outs. So Corrigan, very effective so far.
He really is, and as we just mentioned, a real big rhythm guy. So when he can start throwing strikes and getting outs, he likes to work quickly, really control the pace of the game. And once he gets outs, gets strikes going, he can really do that and really be dangerous right-hander out there for the Miners.
Yeah, Corrigan looking to improve on his spring ball season as he faces Grant Cook. First pitch swing, lifts it high, foul territory. This one does hit the bleachers. Avita given chase, but ran out of room. Corrigan in 33 innings this past spring had a win, 6 losses, an ERA of 5.18, 23 strikeouts to 17 walks. And he's faring better here in the ABL with a swing and a miss from Ryan Cook. Puts a count at no balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Outfield straight away, infield playing back. The 0-2 from Corrigan swung on, a little tapper in the air, moving over into foul territory. Spencer Henson, he makes the grab, and the side is retired. No hits, no runs, no errors, nobody left on base for the Oilers. The first time up for the Matsu Miners coming up in the bottom of the first when we return. It's the bottom of the first inning, and the Matsu Miners line up like this, leading things off. A frequent guy at the top of the lineup, Kona Quiggle from Grand Canyon University. He's batting .301 on the season. Doing so good so far. Tyler Bassetti, he bats second from the University of Nevada Reno. Austin Pianarini out of Gonzaga. Spencer Henson in the 4-hole from Oral Roberts. Out of Texas A&M, Aaron Walters, he bats fifth. Batting sixth, Danny Wright from Southeast Missouri. Batting seventh from Grand Canyon University, David Avitia. And out of Mesa Community College in Arizona, Connor Denning. And batting ninth from Arizona State, Drew Swift. On the mound for the Oilers, Ryan Silva. Silva so far in the season has a record of 1 win, no losses, a ERA of 1.55 and 17 and a third innings pitched. He has 11 strikeouts and 9 walks, also has allowed 12 hits on the season. It'll be his task today to find out if the Miners' bats are hot or if they're not. They came out to a storming lead in the game just this past Tuesday. 12 runs in the first inning, but were held scoreless against the Bucks yesterday. And we'll see what kind of Miners' bats are showing up today. One of the more consistent bats in the lineup, batting from the left side, Kona Quiggle. He's got 22 hits and 73 at-bats. A .301 average, as we said, 11 RBIs, 6 walks, and 14 strikeouts. Also has an on-base of .354. As the first pitch from Silva, he deals from the windup, is too far outside for ball 1. And for Quiggle, he's having himself a nice season. For batting average, that's 6th in the ABL, and he's tied for 3rd in RBIs with 11 as he offers us this one, flies it over towards the left side and out of play.
Quiggle has really settled into his own since moving into that leadoff spot, becoming more comfortable in his average, and most of his stats really just keep improving as he's ahead of the lineup.
The count 1-1 as he swings and flies it off towards the left side. That one's out of play as well. And he's facing a tough opponent here on the mound as Silva. Only a 1.56 ERA. That's good for 5th in the ABL. So somebody who's come on and been effective for the Oilers. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swung on, fouled off again towards the left side. Quiggle just a little late on the last couple pitches as the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody out here in the bottom of the first.
You mentioned Silva being in the top 5. The Oilers have 3 pitchers in that 5, 2 of them being starters.
As the fastball misses high and away, evens up the count at 2.
A real dangerous rotation for the Oilers, and that's really what carried them into this first place position.
The 2-2 from Silva swung on, grounded over towards first. Making the play and standing on first by himself is Brian Leonhardt. So a 3-U to retire the first minor. As Tyler Bassetti comes up to the plate. Well, it's 2 brothers, Mike Lopez and Andrew Lopez, and Ryan Silva. Those 3 are leading the way in ERA and helping these Oilers to the top of the ABL right now. Big reason why they are 12-7. As the first pitch into Bassetti is inside for ball 1. We can go through the batting stats for the Oilers. As this one is swung on by Bassetti and missed, evens up the count of 1. They are last in the ABL in batting average at 193. They strike out the second most at 151. And they also walk some of the least as this one is fouled off towards the left side. That one went a long way from Bassetti. It probably went 322, but in foul territory. That's the distance down the left field line here at Hermon Brothers Field.
I was on its way to Pioneers Peak. That would have been fair ball. He would have tapped all 4 bases.
1-2 the count to Bassetti. Ball taken high and inside, so the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, I almost wish we could move our camera there and just show you the gorgeous Pioneers Peak. The 2-2 from Silva swung on, fouled straight back. And over towards the concession stands.
Really is a great view. Probably one of the best. I know it's a little biased considering we're the home team broadcasters, but one of the best views in the ABL in a ballpark.
2 balls and 2 strikes. A pitch from Silva, high and inside, so the count runs full. Bassetti having a quality at bat here. It was just in yesterday's game. He only had 1 hit, went 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts and a fly out to center. As this one rides high and in, almost hits him, but it's good for ball 4. So a 1-out walk from Ryan Silva. As that brings up Austin Pinarini.
And when you're facing guys with good ERAs like Ryan Silva, that means he knows how to get people out and not give up runs. So you have to make him work, and then maybe he leaves one over the plate here and there for your hitters to smash one deep. And Bozzetti did a nice job right there, working it full, fouled off a couple, and then ended up drawing the walk.
First pitch into Pinarini's on the inside corner for a called strike. Pinarini yesterday was held for an offer. Puts his batting average right now at 283. Count no balls, 1 strike. Ryan Silva working from the stretch. He misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Holding on Tyler Bassetti is Brian Leonhardt. Over at first. Other than that, no defensive changes as this pitch misses low and away for ball 2.
Bozzetti does have a nice set of wheels to him, so Silva will have to keep a close eye on him, or else Bozzetti might snag one.
And Pinarini was a part of the home run parade in that 12-run first inning, as this one's ground towards the hole on the right side, and that's the first hit of the ball game. Austin Pinarini on first with a single. Bassetti moves from first to second. Matsu Miners are dealing here with only 1 out in the bottom of the first.
And that's what it's been about for the Miners. In their recent victories, they get the bats going early, give their pitchers a lot of runs to work with. So they look to do similar things right now, and that's huge. No matter how you're doing, how you're playing, you always want to get the early lead, no matter what sport it is.
No, Asa Lacy, he gave up 1 run, then they bounced back and they scored 12 for him, and he really settled down, got 11 strikeouts against the Oilers in his last game. So Spencer Henson now at the plate. As he swings at this one, lines it out into left field, dropping fast and making the diving play is Ryan Novus. So Novus leaves his feet for a good diving catch. Takes a base hit away from Spencer Henson. As the DH, Aaron Walters now will bat in from the left side.
Just too much air into that hit from Henson, or else I believe it would have dropped down. Interesting to note right now, Aaron Walters without batting gloves. Normally see him wearing the batting gloves, so we'll see how this affects his approach at the plate.
First pitch into Walters, taken outside for a called strike. And one change that we didn't call was Bassetti is not wearing the stirrups. It's a full baseball pant length today. The 0-1 into Aaron Walters, taken again on the outside corner for strike 2. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes with 2 away. Here in the bottom of the first inning, the Matsu Miners do have runners on first and second. Over on second is Bassetti. On first, Austin Pinarini. He had the first hit of the game. The 0-2 to Walters outside for ball 1.
You mentioned Bozzetti's fashion sense. He is a very fashionable guy. I've talked to him about this before. He said if he's not wearing stirrups, he's always wearing the long pants.
And that makes sense here. Wind blowing out to right field. Count 1-2. The pitch from Silva. Breaking ball got Aaron Walters swinging, and the side is retired. So the Matsu Miners get 1 hit, leave 2 on, but they can't get any across. It's Miners and Oilers tied at nothing as we have no score. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. It's the top of the second inning. As it is 4-5-6 due up for the Oilers. Brady Corrigan, a 1-2-3 inning in the first. As Grant Wood stands in from the right side. Wood, 15 hits so far this season as he takes a fastball too far inside for ball one. Wood batting .227, 8 RBIs, 6 walks, has 17 strikeouts. As a fastball from Corrigan misses outside this time for ball two. On base percentage of .301. 2-0 misses inside. It's been inside, outside, inside for Brady Corrigan. Couldn't nab the zone there, so 3 balls and no strikes. And nobody out. 3-0 taken for a called strike. So now the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. And we talked about the Oilers' bats last inning as the 3-0 hits the inside corner. Wood thought not, but it is. So the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I will never understand that as a hitter. When you have 3 balls and the umpire calls it a strike, you just look back the whole time when you run down towards first.
As that one is flat out towards right. Oh, the 3 balls and no 3 balls, no strikes count. You know, you take it, you make the pitch work a little bit more, and then when it gets to 3-1, then that's a better hitter's count. The 3-2 from Brady Corrigan swung on, ground ball over to Drew Swift. He has it, throws on over to first in time for the first out. A lot of times to see the third base coach give a take sign on 3-0.
Yeah, but if you're going to take it and you believe it's a ball so much that you're going to start running down the first base line, don't look back. You know what I mean?
Very true.
You just got to believe it fully. Don't kind of slowly, skittishly jog while looking back. Just my opinion.
So a new batter now is Wood grounded out to short is Evan Berkey as he flies it towards the right side and out of play. Home plate umpire Brad Polk, over at third Dave Tompkins, and Mark Anthony Edwards. He's at first as a fastball hits the inside corner, so the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. And you're right, you know, if you're going to run down to first, you might as well sell it all the way. The 0-2 from Corrigan in the dirt for ball one. Berkey, so far on the season, has 14 hits and 56 plate appearances, batting .250 on the season. That's good for second best on the team. Berkey also 10 RBIs, 12 walks, and 7 strikeouts as he takes the 1-2, swings it, and fouls it off towards the left side.
Corrigan just doing a nice job of delivering strikes. The only time he's thrown 3 balls to a hitter was the last hitter in Grant Wood. So we're doing a nice job making these Oilers hit. He is a contact kind of pitcher.
1-2, grounded over to short again. Swift backs up. Now he has to make a long throw. Spenson with the stretch. He gets him. Good stretch from Henson. Drew Swift having to play the ball in the hop. Tried to get the better hop, standing back in the long throw. Is able to get Evan Berkey.
Real good read from Drew Swift there. Took the 2 steps back, realizing he was going to take a funky hop off the dirt. And when he swallowed it, he made the nice back foot throw, gun all the way over to Spencer Henson.
Corrigan, I'm sure, very used to those plays as Swift and Corrigan are from the same school. Arizona State, as the first pitch is a fastball on the outside corner for a called strike against Ryan Novus. Novus, 15 hits, 65 appearances, batting .231. So he takes a breaker low and outside for ball one.
You mentioned the Arizona State connection. That's got to be nice for Corrigan, because shortstop normally considered the manager out there of the infield. And when you know you've played with a familiar face in the spring, nice to have him behind your back.
The 1-1 swung on, fouled off, and behind the press box. So the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Corrigan's 1-2 swung on, fouled off. So the count remains at 1-2. Outfield a little shifted towards right, not too much. Infield playing back. Corrigan pitching from the windup. He's ready and he deals. 1-2 outside, make it 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, today the Miners have a chance to go back into first place as they've been flipping back and forth with the Oilers. The 2-2 swung on, fouled off. Ryan Novus having himself a long at bat.
Novus with a very strong mustache and goatee look going on. Definitely something to be fearful.
I think Brady Corrigan would use his mustache and try to fight it. The 2-2 swung on, and another foul ball from Ryan Novus.
So not only is this a battle between pitcher and batter, this is a battle of mustaches tonight. We'll see who will come on top.
Who's got the best facial hair? So Brady Corrigan, 20 pitches so far, or 28 pitches, 20 of them have been for strikes. As we're here in the top of the second inning with 2 outs, the 2-2 bounces in the dirt. Count runs full against Ryan Novus.
When you're a guy like Corrigan, you rely on the ground balls, the flyouts. You're really not a strikeout type of pitcher. You have to deliver strikes because if you start falling behind, that's when pitches get over the plate and you give up some really big hits.
3-2 from Corrigan swung on. This one will not stay in the stadium as that goes back. Given chase was David Avitia. He runs back, and we've got a long at-bat from Ryan Novus.
Already up to 12 pitches. So Novus doing a great job of battling in there, but you know Corrigan would like to keep this little streak of out hitters being retired going.
The 3-2 from Corrigan swung on. This one's hit out into left center field, and that's going to get down and for more. On his horse rounding first is Novus. He's heading towards second, and he'll stay there as that ball is thrown in from Kona Quiggle. So a long double from Ryan Novus gets the first hit of the Oilers here in the top of the second inning. That brings up John McKay, the designated hitter.
Corrigan knew he needed to deliver a strike with the full count, just left a little too much out over Novus's plate, and he got all of that one, shooting it to the gap. A real nice hit for the Oilers' first hit of the night.
And now they'll draw a little conversation from pitching coach Jeff Erlab. Coaching staff for the Miners, head coach Ben Taylor, pitching coach Jeff Erlab, and assistant Tyler LeBron. The general manager, Pete Christopher, and the assistant GM, Bob Plumley. I'd also like to thank the official sponsor of the Matsu Miners Internet broadcast, the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska, and owner Jim Ruda. Also, if you're here in Alaska, go to your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts and ask about the Matsu Miners jersey giveaway to enter and win. After the visit from Erlab, there are 2 outs with John McKay at the plate with a runner on second. Pitching from the stretch for the first time is Corrigan. He looks into Avitia. Holds out his chest, looks back, and the first pitch is taken a little outside for ball 1. Fastball hit the glove of where David was positioned, just might have been a little off the plate. So the count 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Corrigan's pitch taken low this time for ball 2. So 2 balls after the visit. Puts count at 2 balls and no strikes.
Already a 16-pitch inning for Brady Corrigan. Would definitely like an out sooner rather than later to extend his start this game.
The 2-0 swung on, fouled off, and straight back. So 2 balls, 1 strike with 2 outs.
And this is only McKay's 12th game played as an Oiler, as they played 20, so only playing about just over half of their games.
And 2-1 from Corrigan swung on, fouled off towards the right side and into Alaskan State Fair property. And for McKay, 3 hits in 27 at-bats, a 111 batting average, 2 RBIs, 3 walks, 12 strikeouts. Getting on base at a clip of 200. So McKay looking to turn his season around. Corrigan looking to flip the inning with 2 outs. A 2-2. Low and outside. Count goes full to the second straight batter. Ryan Novus, he's on base with a long double out into left center field. Corrigan has a sign. From the stretch, he deals. Swung on. This one's out into right field. Turning around is Austin Pinerini, and he's not going to be able to get it. One hops off the wall as he throws into second. 1 run will score, and standing on second base is John McKay. That's how the first run will score. It's the Oilers 1, Miners nothing. A long fly ball from John McKay. It hits the wall. 1 hops off it. Pinerini gets the hop, throws it all the way in to second base, but not in time, as the Oilers score 1 with 2 outs here in the top of the second inning.
Once again, similar situation to Novus with Corrigan, just serving up a little too much over the zone. And McKay was all over, but it wasn't very nice strong out of Austin Pinerini in right field into second base. And if McKay wasn't careful, he may have been thrown out.
As first pitch swinging is batter Bryce Big L. Big L fouled it off. He has 6 hits so far in the season, batting 162. Has an RBI, 6 walks, and 14 strikeouts. Oilers have a run in here in the top of the second. It's 1-0 the Peninsula Oilers as this pitch bounces in the dirt from Corrigan into Big L. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike with 2 outs.
Corrigan, you just have to shake off that run. Only 1 given up. That is not bad at all. So if he can go with the rest of this start with only 1 run given up, that'd give the Miners a great chance to win.
The 1-1 taken inside for ball 2. And for McKay, that was his 3rd double of the season, as he's on second right now. Also his 3rd RBI of the season as well. Count 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs. The pitch into Big L fouled off. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Outfield's again shifted kind of towards right. A lot of space in left center field as Kona Quiggle is now more in right center field. Danny Wright hanging out in left.
That wind really does blow that way, so not surprising the Miners outfielders are moving over that way. There's not a lot of balls likely to be pulled towards the left field line.
Count 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on second. Corrigan's pitch into Big L, outside. Count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 away. So now it's again another full count.
Yeah, you beat me to the punch. These Oilers hitters really doing a great job of working Corrigan, trying to find the exact pitch to hit. So far, they've been successful with it, but Corrigan looking to turn the tide.
Corrigan stares back at second, now deals. Outside, ball 4. So Brady Corrigan struggling here, but only 1 run is in as he has to deal with runners on first and second now. With a 9 batter at the plate, Matthew Kirk. Kirk has 7 hits on the season, batting 149, has 1 RBI, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts. Also an on-base percentage of .200. So Brady Corrigan now dealing with runners on first and second. Oilers already have 1 run in on an RBI double from John McKay. He's on second base. And over on first is Bryce Big L on with a walk. First pitch into Matthew Kirk is for a ball. They'll draw a couple steps from Aviti as he tries to take some time and calm down Corrigan.
Before this at-bat, Drew Swift came up to the mound to talk to his pitcher, trying to calm down. Swift doing a nice job of taking the leadership role of the infield this season.
Swing and a miss from Kirk. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. And the Oilers, they're trying to figure it out at the plate, as we said. They're last in average, last in on-base percentage. Also last with RBIs with 58. Only 4th and walks with 69. 1-1 the count into Kirk. They're going to check down to second. He did not go around, so that's ball 2. Dave Tompkins says he did not go. So yet again, another count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. If we'll follow suit, there'll be a strike, then a ball, and then who knows what will happen. Corrigan's pitch into Kirk, swung on and missed, or fouled back. So the count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs, with 2 runners on base. Runners on first and second, as the Oilers have taken the lead here in the top of the second. Brady Corrigan taking his time on the mound, pitching from the stretch. He looks back at second and deals outside. So just as we predicted, a strike and then a ball.
3 counts in a row going the same exact way pitch-wise. It's kind of freaky.
Well, make it 4 now.
Yeah, 4.
3 was the last batter. Corrigan's 3-2 outside, ball 4. So Brady Corrigan, hearing it from some people here at Hermon Brothers Field, as now Spencer Henson will go to the mound and try to talk to Corrigan, as he's going to give a little time. Some minors are warming in the pen. Looks like number 38 was out there trying to warm up. Jake Terry.
Yeah, the minors really wouldn't want to already bring in relievers so early in the ball game. They do have really good faith in Corrigan. Very talented guy. Has shown to step up in big moments before. And he does have 2 outs, however, with this bases loaded. So you have to take the best out of the worst situation and somehow find a way to get an out.
So the first pitch into Paul Kunst is taken for a ball. 1-0 the count, 2 outs. Bases are loaded for the Peninsula Oilers. They lead 1-0 off an RBI double from John McKay. The designated hitter, Paul Kunst, first time up, flew out to left field. So he takes the 1-0 count, takes it all the way, makes the count 1 ball and 1 strike as a fastball hits the zone.
And that's the main thing Corrigan has to control is that placement of the fastball. Can't leave it too far over the zone and can't leave it too far outside of the zone as well.
The 1-1 from Corrigan taken just a bit outside. Brad Polk not giving Corrigan the outside corner as the count yet again goes to 2 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, a bit of a tight zone tonight from home plate umpire Brad Polk. But the main thing is you want the umpire to be consistent with it.
The 2-1. This one is lifted out into center field, giving chase out into left center, and making the catch is Kona Quiggle. So the side is finally retired. Bases got loaded against Corrigan. They only allowed 1 run, as the Peninsula Oilers now lead 1-0. Matsu Miners come to the plate in the bottom of the second. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. Matsu Miners look to respond here in the bottom of the second inning as they trail the Peninsula Oilers 1-0. To up, Danny Wright, David Avitia, and Connor Denning. Danny Wright, the switch hitter out of Southeast Missouri. A sophomore there from Dardenne Prairie, Missouri. We have not seen Danny since June 23rd, where he was held hitless with 2 strikeouts. In his first at bat, first pitch swinging, he pops it up into left field. Moving over is Novus. He makes a 2-hand grab, and that's the first out in the bottom of the second inning. So 1 pitch and 1 out for Danny Wright, with David Avitia now coming to the plate. David, he's batting .179 with 4 RBIs, has 6 walks, and an on-base percentage that fares better, .333. As the first pitch into David's taken for a called strike.
Vitia going with the batting gloves on tonight. Asked him in pregame, he said, I haven't worn batting gloves in a very long time. But it was a suggestion from skipper Ben Taylor. And anytime you have a suggestion to improve your hitting, you're going to try it.
The 0-1 swung on. This one's popped up into center field, moving over to right center. And making the catch is Paul Kunst. A couple fly balls from the Miners here in the bottom of the second inning. Good for 2 outs. As Connor Denning, an All-American this past season at a Mesa Community College. First pitch into Denning is taken for a ball.
That was interesting on that last play. Kunst basically ran all the way over to right field to make the play. I guess he just had the beat on it and calling Kirk off.
1-0 to Connor Denning, taken for a ball. And for Denning, had a batting average of .372. Had 7 home runs, 29 walks, 37 RBIs, and 73 hits over at Mesa. He takes a ball on the outside corner. That's the first strike. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike.
That was interesting. It seemed like Cook really had to move the mitt there to make that catch.
Might have been a little outside, but nonetheless, with the swing and the miss, count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes, so 2 away here in the bottom of the second inning.
And Denning realized that swinging at a pitch in the very similar area rather than taking for a possible strike 2.
2-2 fouled straight back. So the count remains where it is. Outfield straight away playing Connor Denning. Infield is back. Shortstop Evan Berkey out on the grass. Ryan Silva. His pitch swung on, fouled straight back again. Count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Silva has been effective thus far, though we are only 1 2/3 of the way through this game. From the windup, he deals. Outside for ball 3. Miners last inning got 2 runners on base, had a hit, but were unable to get them around. Danny Wright flew out to left. They pop out to center as this one is lifted out into right field. Moving over towards the line is Kirk. He makes the catch and the side's retired. So the Matsu Miners go in order here. As no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base, the Miners still trail the Peninsula Oilers 1-0. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. Brian Leonhardt, Ryan Cook, and Grant Wood do up here in the top of the third inning. It's the Oilers who lead the Miners 1-0 as Brady Corrigan looks to bounce back from a long second inning. First pitch into Leonhardt is outside for ball one. He faced 7 batters last time in the top of the second as the 1-0 misses low and inside, so the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes.
And Corrigan, sort of like Josh Haley yesterday, worked himself into a sticky situation, but only giving up 1 run is sort of a win.
As this ball is grounded through the hole on the right side, and that's a single for Brian Leonhardt. Spencer Henson running to the bag. Almost thought Denning might be able to get it, but he was too far over near second. That's a base hit for Leonhardt with Ryan Cook at the plate.
That would have been a very tough play for Spencer Henson. He would have had to have a great jump on the ball as it was rocket shot from Leonhardt.
First pitch to Cook is fouled back, straight back, and over the press box. Cook, his last time up, flew out in foul territory to Henson at first. As Corrigan again is going to pitch from the stretch. Fastball hits the outside corner. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes with no outs. Here on the top of the third. It looks like there's some chirping over in the dugout. So the Miners have been warned by home plate umpire Brad Polk.
Couldn't quite tell who he was warning.
Well, it looked like he was pointing towards the dugout, or it could have been a fan in the stands. This one is swung on and missed. Strike 3. Brady Corrigan, after giving up a single, comes back with a strikeout, his first of the day.
That's really big for Corrigan after giving up the leadoff single, especially facing the Oilers' best hitter and Ryan Cook to set him down on 3 pitches, which he had to swing through 2 of them. Great work there from Corrigan.
Well, Cook, not only the best hitter on the Oilers, but one of the best in the ABL. 4 home runs. It's good for first as a fastball is low and in the dirt to Grant Wood. First in the ABL in home runs and first also in RBIs with 15. So a good pitching sequence there from Corrigan. As the count is 1 ball, no strikes with 1 out in the top of the third inning. Runner on first. Corrigan's pitch into Wood. Outside for ball 1. Check that, ball 2.
Some disapproval from the Miners fans there. Hearing some no's after that ball was called.
So 2 balls and no strikes with 1 out. Corrigan's pitch is fouled straight back. Brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. That's what brings me to believe maybe he was warning a fan, which you can never tell. It didn't look like any reaction out of the Miners dugout. So it could have been. Or they could have just taken the warning gracefully. Nonetheless, someone was warned. As on the move is Brian Leonhardt. The throw not in time from David Avitia. Leonhardt with a stolen base. As the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. So still 1 out here in the top of the third inning, but now Leonhardt moves over from first to second as a runner in scoring position for the second straight inning against Brady Corrigan. And 2-2. Breaking ball lined right up the middle, making a dive and not being able to get it was Denning. Coming up with a hard throw is going to be Konequiggle. 1 pouncer to the plate. Is he out? Brad Polk calls Brian Leonhardt out. A nice throw from Konequiggle in center field. Saves a run here in the top of the third inning. A nice play from Quiggle. Hustling all the way. A great throw and a good tag from Avitia as that's the second out here in the top of the third.
Yeah, what a strong throw. Great play on the ball there from Konequiggle. That throw, 1-hopper right on the money. You got to love it when your outfielders can produce like the Miners did right there.
It was a weak ground ball up the middle, but just placed ever so slightly right up the middle where somebody couldn't get it. Corrigan couldn't get it with his glove down. Denning tried to dive and get it, but it went right through and to the glove of Konequiggle, who made a nice throw as the last pitch into Evan Berkey's outside for ball 1. So now they're 2-away here in the top of the third inning. Oilers still lead the Miners 1-0. Second pitch is taken inside for ball 2. So Grant Wood on the throw moved over to second base. As Corrigan again will deal with a runner in scoring position.
And that's huge there. Every run's crucial in any baseball game. Kona Quiggle just saved one for the Miners.
The 2-0 swung on, ground ball over to third. Bassetti has it, throws high to first, making the jump and tagging the base with his foot is Spencer Henson. So a great save by Kona Quiggle as the Oilers are scoreless here in the top of the third. We're moving into the bottom of the third. Matsu Miners come to the plate. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Your shortstop, number 2.
Leading off here in the bottom of the third inning, Drew Swift. He'll be followed by Kona Quiggle, and Tyler Bassetti is there due up. A great play from Kona Quiggle as he threw out the runner trying to score. Saved a run for the Miners. First pitch swing is Drew Swift on Ryan Silva. He misses for strike 1.
And that was a huge throw because not only one did it save a run, but it gave the Miners a little bit of momentum entering into their half of the inning.
Second pitch swing, fouls it straight back into the fence. Swift behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes with nobody out in the bottom of the third. Silva working fast. He misses high with a fastball. The count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Swift pokes this one out into right field. Moving under it is Kirk. He makes the catch. That's the first out at the bottom of the third. So Swift is retired. Kona Quiggle coming up to the plate. He grounded out to first base his last time up. A 3U in your books.
Quiggle looking to ride that weight of momentum after throwing a runner out here at the plate.
First pitch into Quiggle. First pitch swinging. Grounded over towards second, making the sliding play. And not on the bag was first baseman Leonhardt. So Bryce Bigell does a nice job trying to cut the ball off at second as he left his feet. But the throw was wide. As Kona Quiggle's safe on first. That'll be good for an infield single.
Yeah, it was a hard hit ball from Quiggle. Tough play from Big L as he had to dive for it and then try to make the throw over to first. And Leonhardt couldn't quite stretch out enough to make the play. And Quiggle, nice job of hustling to get down the line.
So that's the Miners' second hit of the day. First one came from Pinarini. This is Tyler Bassetti at the plate. He takes the first pitch, calling for a strike. Bassetti walked his first time up. Batting average still sits at 226. Now has 8 walks on the season. Second pitch, a breaking one in the dirt. Evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. So for the Oilers, 1 run on 4 hits, no errors. Miners, no runs on 2 hits. Kona Quiggle's at first. The pitch into Bassetti. He's running a swing from Bassetti. It's more like a bunt as it dribbles up. Caught off the bag is going to be called Brian Leonhardt again. That's going to draw the head coach, Kyle Brown from the dugout. And he says, you know what? Forget about it. He's going to head back. So first base umpire, Mark Anthony Edwards, has called Brian Leonhardt off the bag twice now here in the bottom of the third. That one will be charged as an error as the throw from Cook was offline. So now runners on first and second with one out and Austin Pianarini at the plate. First pitch into him is taken for a ball. Pianarini had the first hit of the game back in the bottom of the first.
And when you're sort of struggling from the plate, as the Miners have, obviously the night with the 17 runs didn't really struggle, but of recent they have, you try to score in any way you can, and small ball can't help out with that. They try to do it right there. Luckily, it worked out for their favor, and the defense couldn't really get the out.
1-0 hits zone. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. You know, you never know what you're going to get from the Miners' bats day to day. One of the more consistent bats, however, is Austin Pianarini. Again, with his .283 average, he raised his last at-bat to .296 as Pianarini takes outside for ball 2. Looks like a pickoff play might have been in the works as Berkey slid over behind Quiggle at second. But obviously the throw went to the plate. Count 1 ball and 1 strike. Check that, 2 balls and 1 strike. Scoreboard needs to update as this one's fouled off towards the left side. Count goes 2-2 with 1 away.
Pianarini has been the man to deliver big RBIs for the Miners, has done it on multiple occasions, and these fans here in Palmer would absolutely love it.
Pianarini, the 2-2. Swung on, ground ball over to third. He's going to throw it over to second for 1, and a good slide from Bassetti holds the throw. So Bassetti, a nice clean slide at second base. Holds a return from Big L. As now there are runners on the corners with 2 outs. Pianarini on with the fielder's choice. Then Kona Quiggle moves over from second to third. As Spencer Henson, who lined out into left field his last time up. It looks like Cook will put a sign on for the infield just to see if the Miners are going to try to steal second with runners on first and third. First pitch from Silva into Henson's in there for a called strike. Count goes to no balls and 1 strike.
The Miners bats, this is the time to bring it alive, get them going again. They haven't quite been there, especially yesterday. They need the run support.
The 0-1's a breaking ball, misses low and away, so the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. And Henson, his average coming into today was .327. It drops to .320 with the fly out. So he's been pretty good so far as this one's hit out into center field, right center field gap. It might get down, and it's a home run. Spencer Henson gets the first home run of his season as the Matsu Miners have taken the lead here in the bottom of the third, a 3-run homer as Henson hits it out of the park. The big bat of Spencer Henson helps the Matsu Miners here as they take a 3-1 lead. And off the bat, I guess the wind really is blowing out to right center field. It looked like it might have fell for maybe a double, but that's all of a home run right there. He got all the 390.
He really did, and that's a tough part of the park to head it out. Henson did so. Oppo shot. You got to love it for Spencer Henson to bring the lumber for the Miners.
Henson did, as the first pitch missed to Aaron Walters. Second one did as well. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes with 2 outs. Line drive right up the middle, a base hit from Aaron Walters. And now the bats are cooking for the Miners here in the bottom of the third. Walters gets his first hit of the day. As I'll bring to the plate, Danny Wright. You know, I got to get better at these home run calls. They look like they may or may not be in the park, and then all of a sudden, hey, they're out. But it's great for the Matsu Miners. Spencer Henson, a 3-run homer off of Ryan Silva, brings the lead to 3-1 over the Peninsula Oilers as they battle for the top of the ABL. Whoever wins this game will remain or be the new leader, as the Miners are only a half game back. Pitching coach Fran out on the mound, and at this time, I'd like to thank our official sponsor, the Matsu Miner Internet Broadcast, the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska, and owner Jim Ruda. Also, Miners Jersey Giveaway. Go to your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Store to enter and win. To recap the inning, Swift flew out to right field, Kona Quiggle, an infield single, then an error charged to the catcher, Ryan Cook, as the throw was offline. That's how Bassetti got on base, and then Austin Pinerini reached with the fielder's choice, and Spencer Henson did the rest. A long fly ball out into right center field clears the fence for his first home run of the season, and the Miners lead 3-1. Aaron Walters is on first base with a single as the first pitch now to Danny Wright is taken outside for ball one.
It's really good for that Miners pitching staff as well. They really just need a little bit of a cushion, and they're good to go. And the Miners have given it to them right now.
So the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. It's always fun to see what the Miners bullpen is doing whenever these bats score some runs for them. Looks like they were benching someone as that fastball hits the strike zone. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Or someone was squatting them, would be more accurate to say.
It was really quite the sight to see. You got to love the bullpen always getting excited.
Always bringing energy as this one's fouled off towards the left side and out of play. They really have been the spark plug of energy as of late. The bullpen has not given up a run since Malachi Emmon gave up his first against the Bucks. This one's lifted out into right center field. This one will stay in the park as Kunst makes the play, but not before the Miners tack on 3 with a 3-run homer from Spencer Henson. The Miners lead 3-1 as we head into the top of the 4th. Brad Walker will have the call for you. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Welcome back into Hermon Brothers Field, where the Miners now hold a lead over the Oilers 3-1 off the 3-run home run, courtesy of the bat of Spencer Henson. Real big hit there from who's really turned into a hometown hero for the Miners, as this is Henson's second season, really coming back because of the community of Palmer and absolutely performing in a great way, giving back with that 3-run home run. Nevertheless, Brady Corrigan still out there on the mound for the Miners. This will be his 4th inning of work. As he winds and delivers into Ryan Novus, who fouls it over for strike 1. Novus tonight is 1 for run, where he came around to score back in the 2nd inning, where he had a 2-out double to extend the inning off a 14-pitch at bat. as he sends one deep into center field, but moving back and making the catch is Konaquiggle for out number 1. That brings up the designated hitter, John McKay, who actually brought in Novus with the RBI double back in that very long second inning for Brady Corrigan. McKay, the right-handed hitter, has only played once against the Miners, where he went 0 for 1. And now he extends it to 1 and 2. So the first pitch into McKay is flied out to the right side and out of play. He is now falling down the count 0-1. Miners on top of the Oilers, 3-1 here in the top of the 4th inning. So now we've seen all 4 home runs that the Miners have hit been here at Hermon Brothers Field and also against the Oilers. As Corrigan gets McKay absolutely fooled on that pitch. He's ahead in the count 0-2. So Corrigan trying to work through after really sort of getting out of some sticky situations in the 3rd and moving through the 3rd inning nicely as he's here in the 4th. His pitch into Mackey is bounced foul and out of play.
So it has to be really nice for Corrigan to come in now. He has a lead. He knows he can pitch and just breathe a little bit more, you know?
In the Oilers, they have not won 4 in a row, but in their past 4 games that they've won, as McKay lines one just over Drew Swift's head into left field, that's going to be a base hit with only 1 down. So now the Oilers have a runner on with 1 out, but that gives the Miners a chance for a double play. They win decisively. In the past 4 times they've won by at least 4 runs. So not really decisive games in the past few that they have won. As Bryce Big L stands in. He was a part of that 2nd inning. He reached on a walk, ended up getting stranded at 2nd in the bases loaded situation. As Corrigan will once again work from the wind for the 3rd time tonight. His first pitch into Big L hits that inside corner for strike 1. 1 down, top of the 4th inning. Miners leading the Oilers 3-1. John McKay stands on first. He just recently got a single. That wind is gusting into right field. So Corrigan's 0-1. Swung on and missed by Bryce Big L. Corrigan's ahead in the count 0-2. He was also ahead in the count to McKay, but unfortunately left one over the plate, going for the strikeout. Looks to do differently to Bryce Big L. Big L now has reached base in the past 6 games. Doing a nice job for the Oilers getting on base paths. As the 0-2 into Big L just misses outside. The snap throw down from Avitia is not in time. Fighting back safely is John McKay. And actually, he's going to have to take a step off the bag, calling time. Seemed to be a little injured. May have injured a hand, or it seems like his leg.
Well, it looked like an awkward slide coming back in. You know, he tried to slide feet first, and it kind of just was like a crouch position when he slid back. So it wasn't a thing of beauty, but he still got back.
And that's interesting because that's a slide that normally you can choreograph. It's the slides where you're running into a bag or you're stealing a base. That is where injuries happen. So interesting, the dive back is what hits him. Nevertheless, we have a 1-2 count with 1 out. Corrigan kicks and deals. This one's popped up into center field, moving a few steps back is Konaquiggle. He makes the catch for out number 2. So he's been active out there in center field really throughout tonight. He threw a runner back out in the 3rd inning. That saved a run for the Miners, and ultimately that's the reason they have a 2-run lead instead of a 1-run lead.
Well, Konaquiggle has really proven himself to be an everyday player for the Miners. He's one of these rising stars, and hopefully he can take the season he's having right now. Obviously, there's a long season left, but take the season now and take it to Grand Canyon, and he'll have a nice college ball and hopefully successful future.
Exactly, and that's all it's about for these guys up here in Alaska. As Kirk dribbles one in sort of a weird play, Brady Corrigan comes off the mound to field it. Spencer Henson tried to as well, so Corrigan light tossed to Henson, but luckily had the wingspan as he turned around to tag out Kirk for out number 3. So Corrigan sees 4 batters, lets one on, but the Oilers leave him stranded, and the score is still Miners on top of the Oilers, 3-1. We enter the bottom half of the 4th inning on Matsu Miners Radio. Miners atop of the Oilers, 3-1. Out on the mound still is Ryan Silva. Last inning, sort of struggled his way through it. Gave up a 3-run home run to Spencer Henson. That gave the Miners their only 3 runs of the game and also the lead 3-1. And that is going, and the last 3 batters due up in the Miners order this inning. David Avitia, Connor Denning, and Drew Swift. None have yet to have a hit in their first at-bats. Avitia stands in. As we mentioned earlier, using the batting gloves today. Sort of been struggling from the plate of recent, so maybe throwing on the gloves, which he normally goes glovesless, could change things for Vitia. Silva winds and delivers into Vitia. This is a bouncer up the alley, moving over to his left, and spinning throw from Berkey is way off the mark. That's going to roll towards the dugout, but cutting it off is the catcher, Cook. Nice backup. That'll allow Vitia to still reach. But great effort there from Berkey. May have just should have held the throw instead of throwing it because it was sort of an awkward play.
Well, it was a long way for him to run to cover right into the middle and to make the throw. You know, Vitia not fleet of foot, not known for his speed, but, you know, he was racing down the line. I think he should have just held it.
So Vitia does reach on the hit. That was a tough play for Berkey. As Silva's first pitch into Connor Denning is low for a strike. So Denning falls behind 0-1. Connor Denning flew out to right field back in the second inning. He's seen the Oilers twice now and has a batting average of 0-4, or rather batting record, as he looks at a ball high. The count's tied up at 1. Miners on top of the Oilers, 3-1 here in the home half of the 4th inning. And the Miners attacking Silva, who came into tonight with a very strong ERA. His 1-1 to Denning has him fooled. He swings through. Silva had the count 1-2. Silva came in tonight with only a 1.56 ERA. But opposed to his team ERA, which is at 3.26, the Miners look to raise that, trying to tack on another insurance run. So the 1-2 to Denning misses low. The count is now tied at 2. With nobody out, the Miners did get their leadoff man on, and David Avitia. Connor Denning, we mentioned, was a community college All-American this past season, as he flies one out of play behind the press box.
That really just shows how tough it is to crack this lineup. You know, to be an everyday player here, even All-Americans are making it.
It really is. It's just a tough Alaska baseball league, a lot of good competition, and that's what draws people up here. As Silva delivers one down in the dirt, that's going to be a ball. The count has worked full. So nice at bat here from Connor Denning, who looks to get back on the hitting streak, or on the hitting train, I should say. Denning hasn't had a hit in his past 12 at-bats, so still looking for that first one. But a great time would come now and possibly give the Miners some cushion. So Silva will work from the stretch, peaks at first, and now the down to second. But Denning lines one up the alley, and Avitia was on the move. He's going to go to third, sliding in safely as Avitia, as Denning advances on the throw. So nice hit and run there for the Miners. And they now have runners on second and third with nobody out to begin the bottom half of this 4th inning.
Well, it was a great hit and run, but the thing that was almost dangerous is because you had the hit and run, Evan Berkey's now running over to cover second base, and the line drive went right over second base. So Berkey was running towards the hit that wasn't hit yet. So he had to jump on it even before it came off the bat.
Luckily for Denning, though, that hit, I believe, would have been high enough. It would have taken some great hops to make the catch, but you are exactly correct. When you have the hit and run, that you want to bring the middle infielders towards the middle and throw it in the gaps. Luckily for Denning, he did square it up perfectly to get the hit. But the Miners, once again, in great position to bring these bats out and extend this 3-1 lead. Drew Swift stands in, the right-handed hitting shortstop. So the Oilers' infield comes in. The outfield takes a few steps in as well. Silva kicks and delivers. He misses inside for a ball 1-0. So Swift flew out back in the 3rd inning. And last night, Swift struggling a bit from the plate, went 0-for-3 with 3 strikeouts, but looks to change things, possibly give his team the lead as he looks at an outside ball, 2-0. And if Swift can somehow reach, maybe both load the bases, if not, get a hit, that brings back the top of the Miners lineup, which has been the most dangerous part all season long. Silva comes set, kicks and deals. This is 2-0. This one's lifted into left center field. Moving over is Kunst and Novus. Kunst calls everyone off, and tagging and coming home is Avitia. The throw in is well short. Cook coming up to cut it off, and his throw down to third, not in time. Connor Denning tagged and went as well. So the Miners get a sack fly run to extend the lead to 4-1 and also move a runner 90 feet closer to scoring. Nice at bat from Drew Swift. Wasn't a hit, but if you're not going to get a hit, throw a sack fly to move the runners over, and he did exactly that.
Yeah, very good piece of hitting for Swift. You know, you have a runner on third. You want to get the ball in the air deep into the outfield, and that's exactly what he did.
So with a runner 90 feet away from extending this 4-1 Miners lead, Kona Quiggle stands in, the left-handed hitting center fielder. Silva taking a break, and skipper for the Oilers, Kyle Brown, will have a chat with third base umpire David Tompkins about that last play and the throwdown to Denning. He doesn't believe Denning made it in time. And it was funny. Skipper Ben Taylor was right behind Tompkins, and almost simultaneously they both did the safe sign.
Well, that goes back to your first point. You know, you have to sell it if you want to believe it. So, you know, Ben Taylor, of course, safe. You know, and Tompkins, I don't know if he was going to follow him, but he made his own decision, called him safe, and it looked like the throw almost beat him, but the tag was a little late to try to tag Denning.
And Cook, you also have to mention this, as he made the smart decision, realizing that throw from Kunst was well short, running up to make the play, try to get Denning at third. Unfortunately, didn't work out, but it was the smart baseball play. Nevertheless, the Miners have their fifth run just standing 90 feet away for Kona Quiggle, who steps in. He's 1 for 2 today. He's been hot of recent, as he's came in tonight just 7th in batting average, 2nd in home runs, and tied for 3rd in RBIs. He lines one back over the box for the first strike in his at-bat. The Oilers do have a right-hander up in the pen, and their infield still playing in. The outfield is at normal depth. So Silva still working out of the stretch. He kicks and deals. Big breaker into Quiggle. This one is popped into left field. Moving in to make the catch is Novus. Denning did tag, but that fly ball wasn't quite deep enough. He'll have to hold it third. And Silva now has 2 outs on the Miners, as Tyler Bozzetti will step in. So unfortunately, Quiggle does throw one in the outfield, but wasn't deep enough. But the Miners still threatening. That runner is still on third, and very much a great possibility to extend this 4-1 lead. In the bottom of the 4th inning, Bozzetti steps in. He's reached twice today, once back in the first on a walk, and in the third, he reached on an error. So Silva's first pitch to Bozzetti is a breaker that misses high. Bozzetti standing out. We mentioned wearing the pants today, the first time this season. Been kind of a funk, so maybe this will get him out of it. And so far, it's worked, reaching twice. The 1-0 into Bozzetti gets him to swing through a fastball, and the count is tied up at 1. The Oilers leading the season series on the Miners 1-2, but the Miners did get the better of the Oilers last game with a massive victory, 17-1. Silva's 1-1 pitch. Breaker had Bozzetti looking at it, but it misses high. The count has now moved to 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 down. Bottom of the 4th inning. The Miners have already tacked on 1 more. They lead 4-1. So Silva stands in. His pitch. It's a 2-seam fastball that doesn't quite come over the plate enough. And now Bozzetti has worked into a hitter's count. And the Oilers do have a road ERA of the season of a 3.84 clip. So just around 0.6 higher than their normal ERA, as Bozzetti does look at ball 4 in the Miners with runners on the corners and 2 outs as Austin Pinerini stands in. He's tied for 3rd in RBIs in the ABL, so he's the man you want at the plate right now. And so Cook will call time. He'll talk to his pitcher, make sure they're on the same page with this big situation. That was Silva's 2nd walk of the contest. Pinerini, he'll step in. He's reached twice, rather. Reached back in the 1st inning on a base hit and back in the 3rd inning on a fielder's choice. He was run of 3 runs, hit in by Spencer Henson thanks to his big shot over the wall. Now Silva His 0-2, or rather first pitch to Peninsula misses outside for ball 1.
And Silva, after giving up these runs, he's kind of rattled a little bit on the mound. A couple close plays didn't go their way, and now he's got to settle down and try to bring it back.
Righty on lefty matchup, a little different here for Silva. So his 1-0 pitch is lifted left side of the field and out of play. Crowd gathering very nicely here at Hermon Brothers Field tonight, as we had a game time temperature of 63 degrees with cloud coverage over the sun. Nevertheless, the count's at 1-1, 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Miners on top of the Oilers, 4-1. They've already tacked on 1 this inning, whereas they tacked on their first 3 back in the 3rd inning. Silva checks first, not in time, and he'll step back on the rubber to face Austin Peninsula. So wind blowing into that right side. That's in the power alley for the left-hander hitting Peninsula. As Silva stands over, looks to fake the throw down to third, and then turns around to first. That's a balk. You cannot do that. And the Miners will tack on 1 more without even really trying, and they now lead the Oilers 5-1. Connor, that's just a mistake you cannot do on the mound if you're Silva.
No, that is not. That's just the Miners getting in his head.
It really is. So Denning scores. Bozetti will now, or rather, Bozetti will stand on second, and Peninsula flies one out. Foul ball. So 1-2 count with 2 down. Still, the Miners have a runner in scoring position with this new 5-1 lead. Rather, it was an old lead, but new run had just come in. So Silva comes set. He checks second. Long look at second. Really staring at Bozetti as they try the pickoff play, but Bozetti scoped it out. He dove back in time, and he'll be safe. And Peninsula has really tore up this Oilers pitching staff now with 6 hits. So just shy of under a 500 batting average against the Oilers. Looks to do more of the same in this at-bat. Silva kicks and delivers. Misses well outside. Cook had to reach out the mitt for that one. Counts now 2-2 with 2 outs. Actually, the first 2 games in this series were decided with 2 runs or less. The Miners really blew that out as Silva, this fastball 2 inside, it hits Peninsula, and the Miners now get yet another base runner. They'll have runners first and second with 2 down. And Silva just can't quite work out of this inning yet. As back in the 3rd inning, Connor, the Miner hitters all over him. And right now in the 4th, they're getting on him as well, as we may see a pitching change here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And with this break, we'd like to thank the official sponsor of the internet broadcast, Napa Auto Parts of Alaska, and owner Jim Ruda. And enter into any of your Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about the Matsu Miners jersey giveaway for your chance to win today. So we will see a pitching change. Silva will come off the mound after working 3 2/3 innings. He gave up 5 runs, all of them being earned, and 7 hits. So not the best start for Silva. This is easily one of his toughest starts. And we'll come back with the new pitcher on Matsu Miners Radio and the rest of the bottom of the 4th inning, as I just mentioned on Matsu Miners Radio.
When approaching a railroad crossing, always expect the train.
New man on the mound for the Oilers. He'll be in replace of Ryan Silva. And if you didn't quite catch what we just said, Silva went 3 2/3, gave up 7 hits. Right now is responsible for 5 runs, but is also responsible for the 2 runners on for the Miners. So we'll have to see what his final tally will end up being. Nevertheless, he did walk 2, struck out 1. And in relief of him is going to be Erickson Fish, a local guy out of Sitka, Alaska, and Hope International College. Through 6 appearances and 14 1/3 innings pitched, has an ERA of 5.65, and I'm sure you can hear it. The loud crowd applause for number 35, Spencer Henson, getting 3 RBIs in his last at-bat with the 3-run home run. He looks to deliver once again as he stands in the right side of the dish. So righty on righty matchup, Fish will start with. He has 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning, but the Miners are leading 5-1 and have runners on first and second. Fish's first pitch is shot right up the alley around third, and trying to score is Tyler Bozetti. The throw is well offline, and the Miners extend this lead 6-1 over the Oilers.
It's really fun just to watch Spencer Henson hit. It's line drive after line drive after line drive. You know, it might be an out in the 1st inning, but he had a line drive right out of the park in the 3rd. Now he has another one here. That's a great piece of hitting from Spencer Henson.
So that run will be earned to Silva. It's not Fish's responsibility. And now Fish does have a responsible runner on first, but Pinarini on second is still Silva's. So Aaron Walters steps in with a single in his last at-bat. He looks to keep this rally in the valley going as the Miners have scored 3 runs in the past 2 innings. And Fish will come set. Long look at second. His pitch into Walters. Big breaker in for strike 1. And it's all about giving this Miners pitching staff some cushion as they lead the league with a 2.61 ERA, and hitters are only batting 189 coming into this ball game. So 6-1 is your score in the bottom of the 4th inning. We have 2 outs as Walters flies one out. He is now down on the count 0-2 to Fish. So Fish looking in. Runners on first and second for the Miners. They've tacked on 3 this inning. Fish kicks and deals. Walters looks at it high around the chest. Count is now moved to 1-2. So Aaron Walters has hit and scored in the past 2 games he's been in. Fish's 1-2 pitch is a breaker. That catches Walters in on the hands as he pops up over to the left side and trying to make the catch is Wood, but he trips up in the warning track on the left side. So unfortunately, he won't make the catch, and Aaron Walters has new life.
You know, there's a lot of gravel as it goes across both the dugouts, and it's hard to get your footing in there. You know, sometimes there's a lot of gravel in the area, and you're almost kicking up sand as if you're at the beach. So a tough situation.
It really was. And the way the things have been going for the Miners these past 2 innings, of course, that foul ball is going to drop for Walters, and he's going to get another chance. So we'll see if he can take advantage of it right now. He is down on the count 1-2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning. Fish comes set from the waist. His pitch is lined foul over to the right side. Walters was all over that, just ahead of it, as his little thumb protector that he wears was lost. It is found now, just behind the catcher Cook, and he'll stand back in.
Got to protect those thumbs.
You know, you really do. It's really important to feel comfortable. And the last time Fish wasn't entered into the game, he was a losing pitcher on the 24th against the Chinooks, where the Oilers lost 5-2. He gave up 3. Now Walters shoots one. A little few hopper over to shortstop. This one over to as he throws to second for the easy play. Spencer Henson sliding in. He thought he was safe, but third base umpire David Tompkins did not think so. He calls him out for the 3rd out of the inning. Nevertheless, the Miners once again roaring this inning. 3 runs on 2 hits, rather 3 hits. So 3 runs, 3 hits, couple left on. They now lead the Oilers 6-1 as we head into the 5th inning on Matsu Miners Radio. You can hear a little bit of Cupid Shuffle going on for the Matsu Miners fan base as they are jumping and dancing around thanks to a 3-run fourth inning to move their lead to 6-1 over the ABL leading champs. Right now they sit in the driver's seat to take over that lead as we enter the 5th inning. So they still have 4 more innings to hold on to a 5-run lead. Corrigan will come on for his 5th inning of work. If he can work through this 5th inning as Braden Merritt gets a standing O. Must have been crushing that Cupid Shuffle.
Also doing the Cupid Shuffle was the Miners bullpen. Everybody was kind of just facing the stands. One half of them were facing them, the other half facing Merritt.
And you got to love it. A lot of team camaraderie, a lot of personalities, and it's really showing on the field right now. They lead 6-1. Corrigan's first pitch misses well inside to the Oilers' leadoff man, Paul Kunst. He's 0 for 2 today with 2 flyouts, 1 to left, 1 to center. As Corrigan working quickly, his 1-0 pitch misses low, this time inside. Counts now 2-0. So the Miners in the last 10 games, they have won 7 out of 3, or rather 7 in the past 10, so 7-3 record, and are riding a 5-game win streak at home where they've been dominant this season. Corrigan finally delivers the strike on the outside corner. Counts now move to 2-1. Home record of 7-3. They look to make that 8-3. Connor, you have to win at home. It's essential.
Oh, yeah, definitely. In front of your home crowd, you have all the energy.
As Corrigan hits the outside edge, 2-2.
And, you know, the Miners, they're averaging 800 fans here. They always come to the stadium. They put on a show for the town of Palmer and Wasilla.
The 2-2 pitch misses high and away. Counts at 3-2. And you mentioned Wasilla. Also great support from them just outside of Palmer, surrounding Palmer, that is. So really wonderful community base as a 3-2 pitch from Corrigan is lifted high into the right side on his horse, moving back and still taking some back pedals and making the catches Spencer Henson for out number 1.
I think whatever Henson does, the crowd is going to applaud. You know, he raises his hand, a lot of applause, you know, whatever it is.
He really is really loved by the whole Palmer community. We've mentioned this early in the broadcast and in other ones, but as we mentioned, second time as the Miners now with 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. They are leading 6-1. Brady Corrigan with a nice lead. This pitch is fouled back. And now that the Miners are leading, Corrigan almost looking like Lacey the other night against the Oilers. The Miners jumping out to a big lead, and the pitchers just feel comfortable on the mound with that lead.
You know, it doesn't matter what pitcher you are. Whenever you have a lead and a lead as big as 5 runs,
the 0-1 pitch is lined out into foul territory on the left side. No one will get to it.
Whatever you have, you know, you can take a deep breath. You can just focus on pitching. You don't have to worry about being perfect. You can make some mistakes now with the 5-run lead. You don't want to make any mistakes, but it's not going to be put on you.
It really is, as Corrigan misses high. Counts now 1-2. And you mentioned mistakes. It's almost you pitch a lot more loosely. You're thinking about every pitch when it's a tight ball game. When you have a big lead, you can think, all right, let's try this pitch out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There's no one on. Leonhardt fouls one over to the right side. Luckily for Corrigan, it's worked. Last inning, not having any damage, just like the inning before. And so far, he has 1 out this inning. Nevertheless, it's 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 down to Leonhardt. Miners leading 6-1. Corrigan winds and fires. This one's chopped right back to the mound. Going off to the mound on the left side and then lightly throwing over to first for out number 2 is Brady Corrigan. Nice fielding from the Miners pitchers this year. They all love to athletically come off the mound and make plays and are willing to do so for their defense.
Well, Corrigan especially. I mean, his last time out, I think he kicked a ball up into his glove. You know, he fielded 3 balls within a very short period of time. So he's very well coming off the mound.
And the most dangerous man in this Oilers lineup, he'll get jammed and hit it high in the air, but Drew Swift runs and under it and makes the catch for out number 3. And Corrigan sets the Oilers down in order to keep this momentum going for the Miners. They lead the Oilers 6-1, heading in to the bottom of the 5th inning. Miners with a commanding lead over the Oilers, 6-1 as we head into the home half of the fifth inning. Wright, Avitia, and Denning do up for the Miners. And really, they worked all over Ryan Silva, one of the better starters here in the ABL, had not given up more than one run in an outing to date. Today, he gives up 6 for the Miners. You got to love it for the hitters.
Oh, yeah, you definitely have to love it. And, it's just the Miners' bats, they're finally starting to come alive.
And it's that flip-flop sort of rhythm that's been going all season long. They had 17 against the Oilers the other night, only 4 hits, no runs last night, and now they already have 8 hits for 6 runs tonight. So tomorrow night, as they go on the road for a little 2-game road trip to face both Anchorage teams, they look to bring the bats with them and get going with that little momentum. So Danny Wright stands in, the switch hitting left fielder. He looks at a ball batting from the left side against Fish, high and away, so the count's at 1-0. Wright tonight is 0 for 2, has flown out to left and center fielders. Fish always working out of the stretch, and this time Wright hits one towering over to the left side in shallow left field, but camped under it, making the catch is the shortstop Berkey for out number 1. So the catcher, David Avitia, steps in. He's 1 for 2 today, and the batting gloves must work as he got a hit back in the 4th inning and ended up coming around to score. This is only the 2nd time all season that Avitia has caught in back-to-back days as he takes a strike on the outer part of the plate. As the 3 catchers on the Miners roster allows for Avitia to have some downtime. As Fish is 0-1. Is lightly popped into shallow right center field, but on his horse to make the catch is the right fielder Kirk for out number 2. So back-to-back flyouts for the Miners. With 2 down, that brings up Connor Denning. Last time he was up with 2 outs was back in the 2nd inning. He flew out as well, as he's 1 for 2. Also came around to score in the 4th. So Denning finally getting a hit for the first time in 12 at-bats. In the last inning, looks to keep and start a new streak. Currently, the switch hitting second baseman, he takes a pitch inside, sort of has to hop out of the way of it from Fish. Denning pitch hit in the last game against the Oilers. Did not get a hit. He went 0 for 1. And in the 2 games total against the Oilers is 0 for 4. The 1-0 from Fish misses inside. The count is now 2 balls and no strikes with 2 down in the bottom of the 5th inning. Miners on top 6-1. So Fish comes set. He's from the waist. High kick and pitch. Misses outside. 3-0. Connor Denning looking to draw the 2-out walk. As Fish sort of takes a deep breath and now toes the rubber. Denning adjusts the batting gloves and stands in. Fish's 3-0 pitch. That misses inside. Almost hits Denning, actually. And Denning will reach on the 2-out walk. And the Miners have yet another base runner on in this game.
Well, it's a good at-bat for Denning because, he's trying to solidify his spot in this lineup. He wants to prove, that he's as good as anybody up here. And for him to come here and he's got a hit, he's got to walk. The more times he gets on base, the better chance he has to get in the lineup.
And that brings up Drew Switch, who did have an RBI in his last at-bat off the sacrifice fly. It was actually very key as he looks to bunt for a hit, but this will be dribbled right back to the pitcher, Fish, who makes sort of the sidearm throw that almost missed high. Nice play by the first baseman, Leonhardt, to make the grab for out number 3. And the Miners do get a runner on, but they'll leave him stranded. And we'll head into the 6th inning. Miners on top, 6-1. Brady Corrigan will still be on the rubber looking for his longest outing to date. Most he's pitched in a single start has been 5 innings. Or rather, 5 1/3. So as he's on to work the 6th, He'll face Wood, Berkey, and Novus. And the Miners with that nice 6-1 lead. And after being shut out twice, or for the second time this season last night, they turn things around and have 8 hits for 6 runs, whereas the Oilers only have 4 hits and 1 run. Grant Wood steps in. He's 1 for 2 today.
Third baseman number 3, Grant Wood.
And so righty on righty matchup. Corrigan winds and delivers. He misses inside. Wood hops out of the way of it. Wood now 3 hits against the Miners this season, standing at a clip of 3-11. Corrigan kicks and delivers. He misses low. He is now behind in the count, 2-0. And the Miners looking to extend a home win streak up to 6 games. As Corrigan's 2-0 misses low, he is now really far behind the count, 3-0. Looks like a pitcher out of the pen warming up for the Miners. As Corrigan walks Wood on 4 pitches, the Oilers get their leadoff man on. And really, if you're the Oilers, you're down 5, but it's only the 6th inning, so you do have some time to work with, and you just have to bring it back slowly but surely.
Well, it looks like Nathan Bach is warming up in the pen, and coming out to talk is going to be pitching coach Jeff Erlab.
The Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into any one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about the Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So enter in chance for your chance to win today. Jeff Erlab will talk to Brady Corrigan, just asking him, hey, what's going on? And Corrigan, it looked like it was going to be a slow start, especially in the second inning when there was a very sticky situation.
Corrigan was really able to bounce back, only giving up the 1 run. And he settled down. He's been able to sit down the Oilers and, just pitch the way that he wants to pitch, especially with this now big lead.
And luckily for Corrigan, the Miners have exceeded their runs per game mark as they came in at a clip of 4.2 and also only allowing 2.8. So if the Miners can also hold the Oilers to just this 1 lone run, that'll bring that down just a tad bit more. As Corrigan will come set with a man on first from the stretch. His first pitch to Evan Berkey misses outside. The count moves to 1-0. Berkey's 0 for 2 today. He's grounded out twice. Once to the shortstop Swift and once to the third baseman Bozetti. Corrigan comes set, chest high. His pitch swung on and missed. He has now tied the count up at 1. So Berkey is second on the team in RBIs with 10 and is tied for 5th in the ABL, so doing a great job of bringing runners around. The only man ahead of him on the team is his teammate Cook, who actually leads the ABL with 15. He puts one into center field. Moving back is Quiggle and over to his left, but does stretch out to make the nice catch for out number 1.
That was a really good play from Quiggle. He's been looking great in center field. He had to move all the way back, then he had to turn his body around to go towards right center field and outstretch his arm to make a nice play.
And this Miners defense has really been on top of things all season long. Only 12 errors. The pitchers have been very reliant on them as skipper Ben Taylor makes a move out of the dugout, and it looks like Corrigan will tie his longest pitching outing at 5 1/3 as he'll get relieved with a runner on. And we'll take a short break here on Matsu Miners Radio. And when we come back, we'll introduce that new pitcher and the rest of the 6th inning. You can hear the big standing O, and that was for starting pitcher Brady Corrigan as he jogs off the mound as he worked 5 1/3, so only gave up 3 hits, 1 run, which was earned, issued 3 walks, and had a strikeout. So definitely a well-deserved standing O for Mr. Corrigan. Quality start. He's in line for the win as the Miners are leading 6-1. And this brings on Nathan Bach, who has been one of the more reliable pitchers out of this Miners pen. Through 8 appearances, has gathered up an ERA of 1.45, a record 1-0, has 2 saves, He's worked 12 and a third, has 11 strikeouts, only walked 7. So Nathan Bach has been very efficient for the Miners. And this Miners relief staff have only given up 1 run in the past 26 innings pitched, have not given up any runs in the past 16 and 2/3 innings pitched, Connor. It's been dominant late in the game for the Miners, and they really rely on these guys.
Of course, when you have a guy who can throw as hard as Bach, and you have the slider from Malachi Emmons, and you have the velocity coming from Spencer Henson, it's a really tough bullpen to face no matter what team you are.
Couldn't agree more, Connor. It's just really spectacular what these guys have done coming out of the pen, and they have a lot of fun to show for it. They're always doing antics, jamming out on the way to games, and just really enjoying themselves. And now the past 4 starts for the Miners, they have combined gone 28 and 2/3 innings, only allowed 6 runs, have 25 strikeouts, and only giving up 16 hits. So along with that bullpen, Connor, if your starting pitcher can provide like that, you're going to win a lot of ball games. You just got to throw out a few runs on the scoreboard.
Listen, the pitching coach, Jeff Verlab, has done a tremendous job working with his staff and getting them to not pitch the way that he pitched. You know, he had a successful minor league career, but pitching the best way that they can pitch. You know, he looks at their delivery and he makes it better. So that's what a great pitching coach does, and it's shown here out on the field.
It really does. As Brady Corrigan does his job, and the Miners are leading 6-1. Relief man Nathan Bach steps in. There is a runner on first. That's Corrigan's responsibility. With 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning, Ryan Novus stands in, the left or right-handed hitting left fielder. So Bach will stare down the runner at first. He'll work out of the stretch to come into this game. As Novus flies one out over to the right side. Bach comes in with a 4-seam fastball and 2-seam fastball, along with a slider. That's his plethora of pitches. He's now heading the count 0-1. Novus 1 for 2 today. Got a hit and scored the lone run for the Oilers back in the 2nd inning. As they are averaging 3.7 runs per game. Novus swings through a strike by Bach. He's now down on the count 0-2. Only 3.7 runs per game. They've also allowed 3.7 runs, so that's not necessarily the clip you want at. Luckily, it's even. You'd rather be even than negative. As Bach comes set, chest high, his 0-2 pitch. Flied out over to the right side and out of play.
Whenever it's negative, you're either winning a lot of games by 1 or 2 runs and losing a lot of games by a lot.
And this Oilers pitching staff has only allowed 73 runs this season as they trail the Miners, who have given up only 54. So really a great clip. Only run this game. Only 3 yesterday. Unfortunately, the bats just couldn't come through, but the pitching staff has been very good. As Bach's 0-2, a slider misses just outside. The count now has moved to 1-2 on Ryan Novus. Novus second on the team. He's tied for second, rather, with 15 hits. And now has 4 hits against the Miners in total on the season. His 1-2 pitch. This one a shot out into left field. Will it be out of here? It one-hops the wall. Danny Wright was on the run. He catches it right away off the hop and throws into third. And since that was such a high shot into the sky, over at first, Wood couldn't really advance anymore. He thought they had a chance of getting caught. So it was really just a loud single for Novus. And a similar thing happened back in the 2nd inning. It was really a loud double, allowed a big hit, but it just hit so hard off the wall that our outfielders made a great play on the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it sounded better than it did. You know, as it just one hops the fence, and, you know, Wright, of course, getting the great jump to get the ball and throw it in.
So Novus pulls one out, and which is the harder part of the park to hit one towards the wall, since the wind always blows out towards the right. Nevertheless, brings up John McKay with runners on first and second. 1 down, top of the 6th inning. Miners lead 6-1. Bach misses inside. Nathan Bach looking to keep that 16 2/3 scoreless streak for the bullpen intact, which they have named themselves the Electric Factory. Always bringing the electricity. As Bach's fastball nails the bottom of the zone, the count's tied up at 1. Okay, he's 2 for 2 today. Has yet to have an RBI or come around to score. He has a prime position to do so right now with runners on first and second and only one out. So Bach comes set. He'll take a look at the runner at second. Now motion to the plate. No miss just outside. The count's now 2-1. So McKay, and this is just his second game against the Miners, hasn't really seen these Miners pitchers, but has worked his record 2-3 now against the Miners with the 2 hits today. Bach kicks and delivers. It misses just outside. Rather, we'll wait the call as Avitia snap throw down to second to try to get Wood off the mark. That one was close. And I tell you what, Connor, Avitia is so good at those throw downs to second to try to catch the runner sleeping.
Yeah, he is. Very strong throw, always trying to catch the runners at second, and they've been good throws too.
Yeah, they're right on the money. All really Drew Swift has to do is catch and try to make the tag. Nevertheless, the count was, that last pitch was a ball, so hitters count to John McKay. As Bach's 3-1 pitch is softly hit high into right field, moving over his Penery, coming in, and he'll throw down to third, but it's cut off by Swift as Wood held up. Didn't quite have the distance for a sacrifice by McKay. And there's 2 outs now for the Miners.
So a nice pitch from Bach just to get McKay to fly out to right field. You're down the count 3-1, and you're not really looking for the strikeout there. You pitched to contact, and the contact was a fly ball to right. So good pitch and good out.
And not the hardest count, but the second hardest count is a hitter's count at 3-1. Bach masterfully got out of it. And that brings up Bryce Big L, the right-handed hitting second baseman, who was 0 for 1 tonight, walked back in the second inning. And with 2 down, runners on first and second for the Oilers, they trail the Miners 6-1. Bach's first pitch to Big L misses low. Counts now 1 ball, no strikes. 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Oilers currently hold a half-game lead over the Miners. They stand at 12-8, and the Miners are 11-8. But that is in jeopardy as the Miners lead by 5 now. Bach just misses with a fastball. He didn't think so. Counts now 2-0. And the Oilers' average against the Miners is only 155, and are only averaging 2 runs per game. Right now, it is 1 less than that. Bach will try to hold that. So his 2-0 pitch almost hits Big L. He had to back out of the way of it. It was up near his hands, and the count's now 3-0.
So now it's one of the more difficult things to pitch out of.
It really is, but luckily for the Miners, there is an open bag at third, so if he walked Big L, it would not be the end of the world or cause any damage. But he would like to come back in this count. So his 3-0 pitch, fastball, catches every bit of that zone. The count's now 3-1. So now Big L has reached base in his past 6 games with that walk back in the second inning. And will raise his on-base percentage that came in tonight at .279. Got to head upwards 300. Bach comes set, and he'll step off the rubber to take a breather, get a re-grip on the ball. It's all about comfortability out there on the mound for the pitchers. And Bach will look in, re-go through his signs. Right-handed thrower out of Southeast Missouri State. His 3-1 gets Big L to swing through. He has now tied the count full. Nice work here from Bach. Down on the count 3-0. Couple fastballs. Got Big L to swing through. What do you think he's going to do here, Connor?
Well, for Bach, the last pitch, it wasn't a strike, but it was a good pitch enough to get Big L to think that it was going to be a strike. So Bach, of course, he has to pitch around the strike zone. Like you said earlier in the count, he doesn't have to throw a strike with a base open, but it would be nice to retire the batter.
Exactly, and this is a tough situation. Runners on first and second. There is 2 outs, however, but Big L, who already reached once, is sort of seeing these Miners pitchers quite well. Got the bat on the ball in the 4th inning, but flew out. Nevertheless, he stands in after the long pause. The payoff pitch from Nathan Bach. Runners on the merry-go-round. Bryce Big L yelling at himself because he just swung through a Nathan Bach fastball. He works his way into a slight jam, but gets out of it. And the Miners still hold a 6-1 lead over the Oilers. Keep it here on Matsu Miners Radio. Miners with a nice cushion over the Oilers as they bring back out the bats in the bottom of the 6th inning, leading the Oilers 6-1. Nice performance in relief for Nathan Bach. 2/3 innings pitch set down the Oilers without getting a run and crossed. And Koenig-Wiggle will stand in. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Got a hit back in the 3rd inning. So he keeps his hitting going as Fish misses outside to Quiggle for ball 1. And the Miners now, you have to take their stats against the Oilers with a grain of salt because of the last time these two teams faced. But they were hitting .287 and averaged 6.3 runs. So I guess sort of forget about the 6.3 as that was sort of an irregular game. Nevertheless, they've scored 6 tonight, so they've showed they can put on runs against the Oilers. As Fish hits outside, the count's now 1 ball, 1 strike to Koenig-Wiggle. Fish misses outside once again, so the count's at 2-1.
Well, it's good the Miners can, score some runs against the Oilers. Now they just have to work on the rest of the ABL. They got to beat the other 3 teams to get on top.
The 2-1 into Quiggle. He looks at it. It's tied. It's now a hitter's count to the best hitter hit-wise on the Miners as he came in tonight with 22, now has 23, and also was 4th in the ABL coming into tonight. Fish's kicks and deals, but Quiggle lines it foul out of play to the left side. And the count is now worked full to the leadoff man, Koenig-Wiggle. And the Oilers had to use 9 pitchers in that last game, and only 8 innings pitched because we didn't have to play the bottom half of the 9th inning. The 3-2 pitch misses well outside. Koenig-Wiggle will take his free base to begin the bottom half of the 6th inning.
No, Quiggle always hustling down. It might be a walk, but it's a sprint almost like Brandon Nimmo-esque.
You're right. Always love the hustle from these Miners players. They care so much and want so desperately to get that 3rd straight top of the World Series title. Tyler Bozzetti will stand in. Righty on righty matchup. Fish kicks and deals. Bozzetti pulls out the bunt. That goes down the 3rd base line. Coming in to make the bare hand play is Wood. His throw is off the mark, and it'll roll out into the right side of the field, all the way to the fence, around 3rd. Trying to score is Koenig-Wiggle, as there's sort of a plate collision as Fish was in Quiggle's way. Nevertheless, he works his way around it and scores. So the Miners now lead the Oilers 7-1 off Bozzetti's bunt, and he'll end up on 3rd out of that whole mess.
Well, I mean, that was a great bunt by Bozzetti. A less than great throw from Grant Wood as it went behind Bozzetti when he was running over. Is more in foul territory. So a very tough play for Leonhardt to try to cross over and get, and he couldn't get it. Bozzetti, of course, always hustling, and in front of him, Quiggle. A nice overall thing for the Miners.
Good for the Miners. They now have a 7-1 lead over the Oilers off Tyler Bozzetti's RBI bunt as Fish misses outside for a ball to Austin Pinarini. The left-handed hitting catcher, the infield is playing in for the Oilers as Pinarini swings through. The count is now moved to 1-1. And surprising, the infield's coming in with the 6-run lead for the Miners. You would think that they're just looking for outs right now. Nevertheless, still competitive. Fish looks in. Pinarini has reached all 3 times today. And he rockets one, but softly and easily making the catch is Kuntz. That was long enough for a sacrifice fly, and Tyler Bozzetti will score. So the Miners have now scored 25 runs in the past 2 games against the Oilers. And anytime you do that, no matter what the ratio is, you're going to get wins.
Absolutely.
So sacrifice fly for Austin Pinarini. Bring in the RBI. That is only the first out of the inning for the Miners. There's now no one on thanks to Bozzetti scoring. So Henson stands in. He's been the hot bat tonight. Right-handed hitting first baseman has 4 RBIs tonight. One coming in from a 3-run home run in the back in the 4th, an RBI single. Fish's first pitch to Henson. That misses low for ball 1. Henson with a new bat tonight because he snapped his bat last night after recording the final out, and a bit of frustration. The 1-0 from Fish. This one lined in the hole between short and third, and Spencer Henson will reach on the 1-out base hit. So the Miners keep their hitting showcase going against this Oilers team, and it really doesn't matter who they throw out on the mound. The Miners have their number.
I guess Henson really likes that new bat because it's been working today with just tremendous hitting. A 3-run homer, a single, and another single.
Yeah, 3 for 4. He's absolutely on fire. So Aaron Walters stands in, reaching twice tonight. Could possibly due to the no batting gloves look. First pitch from Fish misses outside to the left-handed hitting Walters. So Walters 3 hits against the Oilers right now. And Henson on first. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Miners lead the Oilers 8-1, scoring 2 runs here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. And look to tie the series up at 2 and regain the lead in the ABL. Fish comes set. His 2-0 pitch to Walters. It's just high, so Walters has worked the count 3-0 for the second time this inning. Quiggle did the same. Or rather, that was in the top half of the inning. So Fish comes set, the 3-0 pitch. It's misses, or rather hits the outside edge, 3-1. Rather, I'm mistaken. Last inning, Connor Denning reached on a 4-pitch walk. So everything's sort of running together here. So many things happening. Nevertheless, hitters count. Fish kicks and deals. And Walters fouls it over to the left side and out of play. So the count's worked full with 1 out. Aaron Walters, who's tied for second in doubles on this team, has 4 on the season. Could use an extra base hit and possibly drive in Henson. So the 3-2 is skied high into the left side of the field. That's out of play. Many little Miners fans running after it, trying to get a souvenir tonight. Nevertheless, count's still full with only 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. As Fish looks in, checks Henson over at first, kicks and delivers. And with a rocket shot into right field, Walters will reach on the base hit and move Henson over to second. So now the Miners have 2 runners on with only 1 out.
Good piece of hitting from Walters as well. He's starting to break out of his early season slump, and he's seeing more plate appearances, seeing the ball better, and getting the hits.
They really have. In the past 10 games prior to this, they scored 3 or less runs in 5 of those games. So really trying to bring out the bats here as we move into the middle part of the season. Danny Wright steps up to the dish from the left side of the plate. He's a switch hitting left fielder. Fish misses well outside as Wright is batting from the left side against the right-handed Fish. He has runners first and second, 1 down, bottom of the 6th inning. The Miners lead the Oilers 8-1. Pitching to Wright has him jammed up a bit, so he softly pops it into shallow right center field. Moving back, making the catch is Berkey. He tried to catch Henson, who had to sprint back in time before the throw got there. Nevertheless, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning. Miners leading 8-1. And that brings up the catcher, David Avitia. Still has the batting gloves on. He's 1 for 3 tonight with the new look. So if he can hold this 1 to 3, maybe even get another hit, it'll improve his average. He came into tonight with only 3 hits and a 150 batting average. So now up to 4 on the season. First pitch into Avitia, dribbled just over the first base line, over first base that is, making the play is Leonhardt for the unassisted. Nevertheless, the Miners get 2 runs on a couple of hits. Rather, few hits, that is. And they now lead the Oilers 8-1 and 4. The last 3 innings of this ball game. I'll throw it back over to Connor Mills on Matsu Miners Radio.
Yours.
It's the top of the 7th inning. Matsu Miners lead this ball game 8-1 as the new relief pitcher Sean Hughes will come in to relieve Nathan Bach.
Sean Hughes.
Bach went 2/3 of an inning, allowed a hit, no runs,
Leading off the Oilers' second
no walks, and got a strikeout. He will face in the lineup the 9 and then top of the order. First pitch to Matthew Kirk is low for ball 1. 1-0 count into Kirk is on the outside corner for a called strike, so the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Kirk so far today, he walked and then grounded back to the pitcher. 1-1 from Hughes, outside corner, called strike. Sean Hughes painting that corner very nicely. He's ahead. The 1-2 from Hughes, taken for a low ball. The count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. The 2-2 swung on and missed, strike 3. Sean Hughes gets him. That's his first strikeout of the day. Then the third of the game for the Miners pitching staff.
Great work for Hughes doing what he does. We've mentioned before, sort of a roller coaster start to the season, but of recent, in his more second half so far of his appearances, he's been just dominant, striking guys out and getting guys out in other ways.
So first pitch into Paul Kunst is lifted out into left field. Danny Wright is running back, and he's not going to be able to get it. Kunst rounding first, headed for second. Danny Wright has it out in the left, throws it into Swift, who cuts it off. So a 1-out double for Paul Kunst. And Sean Hughes will now have to work with the runner in scoring position. Just to tell you about Sean Hughes, he hasn't allowed a run since June 11th. Although his ERA is above 5 coming into today at 5.62. He gave up 4 runs to the Chinooks, and then he also gave up a run to the Pilots. So only 5 runs allowed in 8 innings pitched, but he's been very good as of late as he'll try to work out of some trouble with Kunst on second base. First pitch into Brian Leonhardt is too far outside for ball 1. Leonhardt today flew out to center, had a single, and then grounded back to the pitcher. 1-0, misses outside, puts the count at 2 balls and no strikes. Hughes' pitch, swung on and missed, puts the count at 2 balls and 1 strike now. Sean from Williamsburg, Virginia. Attends Boston College, a junior there. The 2-1 swung on, ground ball towards the hole on the left side. That gets through. Moving up and getting the ball is Danny Wright. So a couple base hits out to left field in the top of the 7th inning puts runners at the corners for the Peninsula Oilers. They trail this ball game 8-1 as they look to scratch across some runs here.
Yeah, really, just not really a huge hit there for the Oilers, but just placed it where the Miners aren't. And it feels like that's really where all the runs and hits come from for the Miners, Connor.
A bunch of dinks and dunks as pitching coach Jeff Verlab is going to look out to the bullpen and takes his walk to Hughes on the mound. And, Sean has, as we said, he's been good, but now has to deal with some adversity.
Yeah, and especially facing the most dangerous bat in the Oilers lineup. He hasn't done much today, being 0-for-3, but we know he has home run power, leading the ABL with 4 home runs. So you have to be careful when pitching to Cook. There is a base open, so maybe you pinch around. But if you're going to attack him, if you're Hughes, you have to be smart with the pitch placement and the pitch decision on what pitch you're going to throw.
So Hughes will pitch from the stretch. Big righty out of Boston College will deal with runners on the corners. Leonhardt at first, and over at third is Kunst as the first pitch into Cook is outside for ball 1. Hughes has a fastball that touches 94. we've seen. He has to use that and locate it well. 1-0, swung on a miss, looked like a changeup into Cook. Count evens itself up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Hughes has really been working on that changeup and showed right there, had Cook very confused.
1-1 the count, 1 out. Hughes, the pitch, swung on, a little number, right back to Hughes. His only play is going to be to first, and he throws it high. Sean Hughes throws it away and all the way into the Miners bullpen down the right field line. 1 run will score, 2 will score. And actually, Leonhardt is going to have to go all the way back to third base as the ball somehow found a hole down that right field line along the gate. We saw a bunch of the Miners putting their hands up as that's the location of the bullpen, and following suit was Pianarini, as that's an E1. 1 run will score. So after holding the Oilers scoreless since the top of the second, Sean Hughes comes in relief for Bach, and a little number goes for a run, and it's going to be called a balk. Sean Hughes a little baffled out on the mound as now Leonhardt will come around to score, and going from second over to third is Ryan Cook. There are no Miners in the bullpen warming up as of yet. It does not look like the bullpen phone is being used. Somebody is sitting by and manning the phone. So now 2 runs are in on a balk and an error. Hughes now pitching with a little bit more velocity, and that's going to draw David Aviti out to the mound to try to calm him down.
Yeah, you have to. You just got to walk out there, tell your pitcher to take a few deep breaths. Don't take anything personally. You still have a big 5-run lead to work with and only 1 man on. So just focus on the batter and try to get an out.
So Corrigan's stat line today was 5 1/3, allowed 5 hits, a run. It was earned, 3 walks, and a strikeout for Hughes. But then coming in was Bach, went 2/3 of an inning, allowed a hit and a strikeout, no runs. As the 1-0 bounces away from Avitia, Hughes hustling down, but it's not going to be in time. All 3 runs have scored. It's now the Oilers 4, the Miners 8. So Sean Hughes having a tough time of it on the mound as it looks like Noah Cordova is warming up quickly in the Miners' pen.
Yeah, he's just not having a great start. Not really a feel for it, but he'll have to do everything in his power. Now there's no one on base. You don't have to worry about any runners. Just focus on the batter. And as I just mentioned, just getting out.
As the pitch misses, it goes to 3 balls and no strikes. So Sean Hughes working on a thin line. As the ball misses in, it's a 4-pitch walk to Grant Wood. So it's still a 4-run lead for the Matsu Miners here in the top of the 7th inning, but 3 runs are in for the Peninsula Oilers. The score, Miners 8, Oilers 4. Sean Hughes coming in relief, and it has been now going up on that roller coaster again for Sean. It looked like we were going downhill for a little bit as he figured things out, but now a rough go around here as 3 runs are in.
Now it's normally the bullpen, or rather the hitters relying on the bullpen to help them out just a little bit. Now it's sort of the other way around. Good thing the Miners threw up that huge cushion, and that's why you do it. Just in case bad things like this happen. Nevertheless, it's still a 4-run lead, not super in danger, and it's also the Miners are the home team, so they always have that last at-bat.
Well, now manager Ben Taylor has made the call to the pen. It looks like number 33, Noah Cordova. We'll let you know who it is as we think it's him. As we'll take a break. It's the Miners 8, Oilers 4. As we'll see a pitching change here on the top of the 7th. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. So we were right. Noah Cordova will come in relief for Sean Hughes. Cordova, 6'6", 195 pounds, from Chandler Gilbert Community College, and also from Gilbert, Arizona. Hughes, his stat line, he's responsible for the runner on first, but as it reads, a third of an innings pitched as we have one out. First pitch into Evan Berkey's low and away. It's a third of an innings pitched, 2 hits, 3 runs, but only 1 was earned. A walk and a strikeout. The count 1-0 to Evan Berkey. As Cordova deals, hits the outside corner for strike 1. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 away here in the top of the 7th inning. Berkey so far today grounded out to short, grounded out to third, and flew out to center in his 3 trips to the plate. The 1-1 coming into Berkey. Ground ball over to third. Diving and making the play. Standing up is Tyler Bassetti. He throws it over to second. And Denning is able to pick the ball. What a play from Bassetti. What a pick from Connor Denning. Tremendous play, as that's the second out here in the 7th.
Wow. I thought Bassetti was definitely going to go down to first on that one and not even think about second. But no hesitation. Knew what he wanted to do with it just in time. And as you mentioned, excellent pick by a fellow Connor Denning.
It's got to be the Connor, right?
It really does. You got to get some kind of credit for that, don't you?
I don't know. I just called the balls. He actually picked the ball. So that's a better Connor out there, and Connor Denning. A good pick from Denning. A good play from Bassetti, as a swing and a miss from Ryan Novus. The Miners have the momentum back on their side. Count, no balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th inning. Miners are leading the Peninsula Oilers 8-4. Cordova misses inside, as attempting to run was Evan Berkey.
And you mentioned the Miners having momentum back on their side because of a defensive play. We saw it back in the 3rd inning when Kona Quiggle threw out a runner in the 3rd. He came back up and started the rally in the bottom of the 3rd inning as well with a base hit. So you got to wonder if that'll be similar with what Bassetti just did.
As this one's lifted out into center field, Quiggle takes a couple steps back, makes the catch, and the side is retired. So in the top of the 7th inning, 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 left on base. It's the Matsu Miners 8, the Peninsula Oilers 4. Miners bats will be at the plate when we return. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. So Connor Denning, after making a nice play to get the second out of the inning, as he takes a fastball from the new pitcher, Trey Brown, will stand in from the left side. So Trey Brown comes in relief for Erickson Fish, who went 2 1/3 innings pitched, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs. They were not earned, and had 2 walks. Second pitch into Denning is taken for a called strike. So count now 1 ball and 1 strike. Stat line on Denning: flied out to right, had a single, and got on base with a walk. Trey Brown from Bonita, California, misses high and away. A sophomore at San Diego State. With the Oilers, he has 2 wins on his record, a ERA of 1.80 in 6 games. Has 10 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts to 3 walks. As Denning grounds this one over first base, and that takes a crazy hop. That'll be for a single for Denning as he goes all the way to second base, making a double. And he gets punched out. So Connor Denning, he goes from first to second, trying to leg out a double. He gets there, slides through the bag, and tries to tiptoe his way back on, but he's going to be tagged out. So it's a double, and then he gets a 9-6 putout. So a nice piece of hitting from Denning as that bounced over the bag at first and over the first baseman Leonhardt, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't stay on second base as his momentum took him off as Drew Swift now stands in from the right side facing Trey Brown. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. So an unfortunate set of events for Denning as a fastball hits the outside corner. So he picks up his second hit today, but he's unable to stay on the base. 1-1 to Drew Swift. The pitch taken low, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Real just unfortunate series of events right there for the Miners. Getting that momentum back with a nice play from Bozetti, and then the big hit from Denning to start the inning. Really hustled his way for second. Really never like to see that for a guy when something like that happens after a hard hustle play.
The 2-1 from Trey Brown swung on, tapped towards the left side and foul. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. So far today for Drew Swift, he popped out into right field, had a sacrifice fly and grounded out to the pitchers. He takes a breaking ball that misses maybe a little inside as the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Trey Brown, the 3-2 into Swift, swung on, fouled straight back. You just feel bad for Denning. You know, a great play, got the crowd behind him, and could not stay on the bag.
Yeah, you really do. This could be what could have been a breakout game if he could have almost stayed on second to add to the fire. Nevertheless, it's still 2 hits if you look at the better side of things.
The 3-2 pitch from Brown gets Drew Swift looking, and that's the second out of the bottom of the 7th inning. As that brings the top of the lineup up. Kona Quiggle coming to the plate. Quiggle has a hit today, reached base on a walk, also grounded out to first and flew out to left field. His batting average as of now is at .303 with the 1 single. First pitch into Quiggle is outside. 1 ball and no strikes.
Brown has to be careful. Quiggle with the big bat, and Brown brings it at a little more velocity than Fish does. If Quiggle can get a hold of it, that could shoot out.
The 1-0 from Brown swung on a miss from Kona Quiggle. So the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike.
Almost looked like Kona tried to send one out. Big swing right there.
1-1 is fouled off towards the left side and out of play. Count against Quiggle, 1 ball and 2 strikes. With 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Still a very nice crowd here at Hermon Brothers Field. Connor Mills and Brad Walker with you on the call. Trey Brown going from the stretch, and he deals. Swung on and just fouled off from Quiggle. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Josh Haley hustling to the backstop, retrieving the foul ball on his off day. Had a very good pitching performance yesterday. Unfortunately, the bats fell quiet. Not here today as the 1-2 is fouled off towards the left from Quiggle. Just 3 plays that didn't go the Miners' way yesterday equaled up towards 3 runs, unfortunately, against Josh Haley. But a very quality pitching performance as the 1-2 sails way outside. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You mentioned 3 bad plays. There really wasn't 1 hit or 3 really solid RBIs for the Bucks. Just in weird spots they placed the ball, and luckily they had runners on third in those positions to bring them around.
So should Quiggle extend this inning, now bring up Tyler Bazzetti. The 2-2 swung on, and again, another foul ball from Kona Quiggle.
Kona's doing a great job protecting right now. Wants to keep this inning alive, maybe add another run to help out this Miners bullpen.
7 pitches deep into this at-bat. The 8th pitch about to be thrown from Trey Brown. He sets and deals. High and outside. Count goes to 2 balls. Check that, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Kona Quiggle looking to stay hot. The 3-2 to Quiggle swung on. Broken back ground ball over to second. Big L has it. Throws lightly over to first in time, and that's the 3rd out of the inning. So the Matsu Miners go down 1-2-3 here as no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. The Peninsula Oilers come to the plate in the top of the 8th. When we return, you're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Tickets to the beer shack behind the main grandstand.
It's the top of the 8th inning. Noah Cordova on for his 2nd inning of relief. He came in, got 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Didn't allow any runs. Giving relief for Sean Hughes as he will face John McKay, Bryce Bigell, and Matthew Kirk. The bottom half of the Oilers lineup as he has a fastball in the outside corner for a called strike. Clouds are starting to dim the lights here at Hermon Brothers Field, as we do not have lights. The 0-1 line down the right field line and foul. Bryce Tossan fielding that. Throws it to a nice fan who gives a dance and show appreciation. So John McKay so far today. The 0-2 misses low and away. He doubled, had a single, and flew out to right field. The double was good for the first RBI of the game. The 1-2 from Cordova swung on, ground ball over to third. Bassetti bobbles it a little bit, now has time to throw over to first, and he gets him right in time. So Tyler Bassetti again showing off that strong arm, making a nice transition from the spring college ball where he was a shortstop, a smooth transition over to third. Ball kind of bobbled out of his glove. He stepped it or stopped it, turned around. It was there, picked it up, threw it over to first, and a good stretch from Henson was able to retire John McKay. As Bryce Bigell now steps to the plate. First pitch into him, a swing and a miss. And for Bigell, he walked, flew out to center, and struck out. One of the 3 strikeouts so far in the game. Doing a far better job striking out than they did against the Miners last time, where the Miners pitching staff struck him out 15 times as this one sails over the heads of David Avitia and the home plate umpire, Brad Polk. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike.
Going back to the play with Bozzetti, the biggest thing there is he did not panic. Obviously didn't make the clean play when trying to glove it, but just relaxed, picked it up, knew he had the arm to throw to first, and greatly did so. So nice job for Tyler Bozzetti to just stay relaxed and make the play.
So the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Cordova ready, and he pitches. The fly ball out towards Miners bullpen in right field. This one is slicing foul right off the mound. And a fan who was exiting the ballpark was able to get a souvenir before he left.
What kind of luck is that? You decide to head out of the game a bit early, and you get rewarded with a ball. So little thank you gift for coming to the stadium today.
So the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cordova's pitch swung on. This one is chopped over out into center field, and that will fall for a base hit. A seeing eye hit for Bryce Bigell, as Drew Swift knew it as he almost tried to make the play, but he knew that was too far in the outfield.
And it was funny because once Bigell hit it, sort of put his head down in disappointment because he did not want to swing. And I think if he would, it would have been a fly out to center. But luckily, since it was just a half swing, just blooped over Swift's head. So he gets on with sort of the unusual hit.
Current temperature 61 degrees here at Hermon Brothers Field in Palmer, Alaska. As the fastball misses low and inside, and Cordova still trying to work through this inning. Now has a full inning pitched throughout 2. Had 2/3 of an inning coming in relief in the top of the 7th. In the 8th, he has 1 out. As he hits the inside corner against Matthew Kirk, count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, the weather won't get better until Sunday, 72 degrees and sunny. But before then, 64 and 62 over the next 2 days. So this one is topped over. Cordova gets a glove on it, underhand toss to first in time for the 2nd out. So Cordova stays with the play as we have 2 outs, both tipped off the glove, both recovered, and both thrown to first. And with that, they'll bring up Paul Kunst, who doubled in the top of the 7th and then came around to score.
Cordova with those really long arms helped him get that ground ball, just kind of throwing out his glove. Luckily, he got the tip of it, so that way he just can make the nice, easy underhand toss.
Cordova misses outside on the last pitch. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs with a runner on second base for the Oilers here in the top of the 8th inning. Cordova's 2nd pitch is underway and inside for ball 2. So 2 balls and no strikes.
And the Oilers dugout starting to get some life ever since they got those 3 runs. You can hear them chirp a little more as they were sort of down and disappointed after going down so early and so big.
After Paul Kuntz takes a strike, that brings the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. For Cordova, a 1.54 ERA as this one hits the outside corner, puts the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Cordova did a nice job relaxing, even though he went down the count 2-0 with a runner on second, as came back with 2 nice fastballs.
So Cordova pitching from the stretch. He looks to second and deals. Swung on, ground ball over to Swift to short. He can't handle it. Swift picks it up but decides to hold on to it as the gloves are not coming apart here, but all bouncing off. An error will be charged to Drew Swift, I believe his first of the season. As Drew Swift could not handle that one on the backhand.
First baseman,
Big hop.
Brian Leonhardt.
So now there are runners on the corners here for the Peninsula Oilers in the top of the 8th inning. Cordova still on the mound. And the pitch into Brian Leonhardt is taken for a ball. So a bunch of tough luck happening to Hughes and happening here to Cordova, although no runs are in the top of the 8th. Miners lead the Oilers 8-4 as this one is lifted out into left field foul territory, moving over and giving chase was Bassetti, but that goes out of play. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike.
Real tough for Swift. Only his second error of the season. He's fielded many ground balls, so only having 2 errors now isn't bad at all. Very defensive, reliable, and only a 13th error on the season for the Miners.
1-1 count lined in foul territory. Henson trying to get a glove on it, and first base umpire Mark Anthony Edwards just jumping out of the way as that one was coming towards him.
He had to pull out his inner matrix right there to get out of the way of that one. Did so nicely. And also, that puts Noah Cordova ahead in the count 1-2.
And it looks like Malachi Emmons is warming in the Miners' pen. Maybe see him in the top of the 9th. The 1-2 taken inside for ball 2. Leonhardt, a fly out to center field, had a base hit and grounded back to the pitcher. Also had a hit in the 7th. The 2-2 from Cordova swung on, ground ball over to Swift. He has this one underhand tossed to second. Denning is there in time for the 3rd out. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 left on base for the Oilers as the Miners come to plate in the bottom of the 8th. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. It's Tyler Bassetti, Austin Pianarini, and Spencer Henson due up here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Hopefully the last at-bats of the Miners as they lead the Peninsula Oilers 8-4. They look to get back on top of the ABL. As the standings sit, Oilers at 12-8, Miners at 11-8 and a half game back. First pitch into Bassetti is swung on and missed for strike 1. Chinooks follow with a record of 10-10, and Anchorage Bucks are at 9-11, 3 games back. Pirates sit in the bottom at a record of 7-12, 4.5 back. So Bassetti today had a walk, Got on with a error as that last pitch misses for ball 1. Walked. And then had a bunt that was thrown around the infield as he was able to reach all the way over to third and bring home a run as this one swung on and missed for strike 2. Quiggle did score on that bunt or error. So he then did come around to score as well. So the count sits at 1 ball and 2 strikes, nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Trey Brown still on the mound as he misses inside for ball 2.
Bozzetti's 2 strikes that he swung through were some big swings, so you got to wonder if he'll cut it down a little bit just to try to get a base hit.
Brown center and he deals a 2-2 outside for ball 3. So the Miners coming in today they're in the bottom of the ABL with walks with only 61. Home to raise that today. Bassetti swings at this offering from Brown, fouls it straight back. The count goes and remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. The Oilers have walked 4. So now 65 walks on the season. The 3-2 fouled back from Bassetti. He stays alive. And still warming in the Miners' pen is Malachi Emmond. Nothing happening in the Oilers' pen. Bassetti still looking for his first hit today. The 3-2 from Brown swung on, popped up into right field and foul ground. Moving over and giving chase, but not enough room, was Kirk as he tried to run into the pen. Hank Boyer now has a foul ball and flips it over to Malachi. Now he has a game ball to work with.
He was entering the electric factory territory right there. Surprised they don't have a electric fence with a no trespassing sign, honestly.
Somebody should get them signed. The one thing I don't see is the Miners hats. The 3-2 from Brown, high for ball 4. So Tyler Bassetti has reached base today all 5 times now. A walk in the first, a reach on base with an error. He walked in the 4th. In the 6th, he got on with an error. And now here in the 8th with a walk. So on base percentage is looking good. Batting average is still around 219 right now. With Austin Pinerini at the plate. Pinerini currently batting 291. Has a single, reached base on a fielder's choice, was hit by a pitch, and a sacrifice fly for an RBI. Bassetti's at first. Trey Brown still on the mound. The 1-0 taken outside for ball 2. And that'll draw a little conversation from the catcher Cook.
This is sort of a pressure situation for Brown. As the Miners, they've already scored 8 runs, so you wouldn't think that they would ask for another insurance run, but you would like to, because being up only 4, that means 1 swing of the bat if the bases are loaded could tie the game. Nonetheless, Pinerini has been the RBI man all season for the Miners. Already has 1 tonight. Looks to add on to that.
Count sits at 2 balls and no strikes with Tyler Bassetti at first, and the ball gets away from Leonhardt. Bassetti gets up, goes all the way to second base. Ball is picked up in front of the Miners' dugouts. As that'll be an error charged towards the pitcher. And E1. As the count remains for Austin Pinerini, 2 balls and no strikes with a runner in scoring position. And then, yet again, the catcher Cook will like to take some time, but there is still nobody warming up in the Oilers bullpen, so looks like he'll have to go over signs and just try to figure things out with his pitcher, Trey Brown.
You got to wonder if the type of pitch they're going to throw is different now that there is a runner in scoring position rather than on first.
So Brown pitching from the stretch, hands held at his belt. He deals the 2-0, too low for ball 3. So 3 balls and no strikes. With nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th inning, Miners leading the Oilers 8-4. The 3-0 to Pinarini is taken for a called strike. Count goes to 3-1.
You definitely want to walk Pinarini because that brings up Spencer Henson, who's been really dominant against the Oilers tonight and for the season, really.
The 3-1 from Brown. Outside, ball 4. So back-to-back walks here in the bottom of the 8th inning put Tyler Bassetti and now Austin Pinarini on base. And the big bat of Spencer Henson is now walking out. As looks like the pitching coach for the Peninsula Oilers, Ryan Duran, would like to have a little chat with Jay Brown. And of course, as you've heard before, and we'll hear many times after this, the official sponsor of the Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Also, for the Matsu Miners jersey giveaway, go to your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Store to enter and win. It's the Miners 8, the Oilers 4, as the Miners look to get back on top of the ABL, only sitting a half game back from the Oilers.
It's crazy that rain looks like to be pouring just a little portion over there at Pioneer Peak. Beyond left field, you hope that the wind is blowing to the right as it normally does, so you hope that it doesn't end up coming over into the field before this game is over.
Well, the forecast right now looks good until 2 a.m. where there's a 40% chance of rain. On Friday, 64 and cloudy for the Miners away game in Anchorage. And then on Saturday with a doubleheader against the Chinooks, looks like more rain with temperatures at 62, but then it gets a little bit warmer as we head into Sunday. But for us, that's the Matanuska Glacier trip. No baseball on Sunday. So Spencer Henson here with runners on first and second and nobody out. Trey Brown on the mound with a tall task against Spencer Henson. Henson 3 hits today and 4 RBIs. Brown staring back at Bassetti. Now at his catcher. His first pitch swinging is Henson. Tosses his bat over into foul territory, and it looks like this one will be caught by the shortstop going a long distance out into right center field. So Henson, I'm sure, not happy, but he's had a great day so far, going 3 for 5 now. Batting average back up above 350, sitting at 352. And Aaron Walters now at the plate. He's above the Mendoza line. Was at 196 coming in today. He's now at 218. So he's getting that average back up. Walters struck out, had a single, got on with the fielder's choice, and had another single as he stands in against Brown, takes the first pitch fastball in for a called strike.
Talk about a guy who's improving his average today. 2 for 4, Aaron Walters. Really good to see him getting out there. They call him Wally, the Miners do. It's nice to see him having a nice day.
The 0-1 misses outside, puts it at 1 ball and 1 strike. I believe the nickname started at Texas A&M for Wally Moon. So still with 1 away, with runners on first and second. Aaron Walters at the plate, batting from the left side. He swings and misses. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Brown had him fooled right there. Walters was thinking a fastball with the 1-1 count, but it was a nice off speed in the dirt.
1-2 count, 1 out. Brown looking to get through unscathed. The pitch, this one's lined out into center field. Not going to be able to make the catch is Kunst. Rounding third and heading for home is Tyler Bassetti. The throw will get him. And that's going to have a loud conversation from the manager, Ben Taylor. Tyler Bassetti sliding in head first. It looked like he got in before, but Brad Polk says he did not. And it looks like Ben Taylor's going to point at the plate and, again, a loud conversation.
I will say the reason he may have been called out is because that throw was already back and Cook's hand was already extended, but I don't believe Polk saw that Bassetti's hand tip or hit the edge of the plate. So it was really a bang-bang play. Each side have a great argument.
Well, not to be lost in all this, Aaron Walters picks up his 3rd hit of the day. As you can tell, the manager's not happy. And I would not be too. But the one thing to be happy about is that the Miners are still leading. Even though they did not score here, it's the Miners 8, Oilers 4. Runners still at first and second now. With Danny Wright at the plate, he takes a first pitch strike on the lower outside corner. Wright is held off the base paths today, flew out to left, center, and short. Count at no balls and 1 strike. Swing and a miss from Danny Wright puts a count now at no balls and 2 strikes.
In back-to-back innings, the Miners have some unfortunate base running happenings. Last inning, obviously, Denning with the awkward slide. In this inning, Bozetti getting called out, in which all Miners thought he was safe. So really unfortunate that they don't have a chance to add on some runs.
So a fastball misses away, 1 ball and 2 strikes now.
Add on runs to this point, I should say, with only 2 outs in this inning.
There are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Trey Brown, his pitch. Did he go around? And the third base umpire punches out Danny Wright. Dave Tompkins with the final decision here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Miners with 2 on are held scoreless. So coming to the plate and looking to close it out, looks like it'll be Malachi Emmons to come in, and that will toss Ben Taylor. He's just been rung up. Ben Taylor has been thrown out of this ball game by Brad Polk. And then now the taking over will be the assistant coach, Tyler LeBron. Nonetheless, Miners 8, Oilers 4 when we return. So due up here for the Oilers in their last at-bats in the top of the ninth, Ryan Cook, Grant Wood, and Evan Berkey. First pitch from Malachi Emmons is that wonderful slider, and for a called strike. Malachi on the season, 20 strikeouts. That's good for 5th in the ABL, tied with his teammate Asa Lacy as the slider misses outside. And I'm sure you didn't miss it. Last inning, manager Ben Taylor has been thrown out of the game by home plate umpire Brad Polk on a couple questionable calls from the umpiring crew today. As ball bounces in the dirt, goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. So the one that was in question, Bassetti with a headfirst slide, was called out. It looked like it could have been in the Miners' way as the count goes now to 3 balls and 1 strike. Emmons misses high.
And that just goes to show how much skipper Ben Taylor cares about this Miner team and the game. Things weren't really going their way, so maybe him getting tossed fires up his players a little bit.
3-1 misses inside, ball 4. To Ryan Cook, arguably the most dangerous batter in the Oilers lineup, reaches base on a walk. And the other one
Now batting third base.
was the third base umpire, David Tompkins, ringing up Danny Wright on a call that could have went either way. Wright held his swing. Tompkins said he did not. First pitch into Grant Wood is for a ball. So Malachi struggling to find the strike zone here after the first pitch strike. There's now 4 straight balls.
Nevertheless, it is what it is. But luckily, the Miners lead 8-4 heading into this 9th inning. Edmond just needs to do his job. Let's get the Miners, get this win, improve their home winning streak, and move on to tomorrow.
Well, Miners, or should I say, Wood hits the Miners' new indoor batting cage on the last one. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. As this one is a slider that misses inside to bring the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Runner on first for the Oilers against Malachi Edmond, who's pitching out of the stretch. He deals a slider in there for a called strike 2. 2-2 the count, nobody out, top of the 9th inning. Miners leading the Oilers 8-4 as they look to get back into the win column after suffering a loss against the Bucks yesterday. The 2-2 misses high for ball 3, so a full count here to Grant Wood. Ryan Cook reached base on a 5-pitch walk. Edmonds 3-2 into Wood. This one's poked out into center field. Conaquiggle ranging over, can't make the play, and it gets behind him. Rounding second and heading for third is Ryan Cook, and on second base is now Grant Wood. So there's nobody out here in the top of the 9th inning. Malachi Edmond has been hit a little bit as the next batter up comes to the plate in Evan Berkey. Edmond so far, a walk and a double. A lucky double for Grant Wood as the ball got away from Conaquiggle in center. As a home run here will not tie the game. Runners on second and third. Nobody out, top of the 9th inning. Miners leading 8-4. Edmonds' first pitch into Berkey, a slider for a called strike. So we'll see what Malachi has under the hood today.
And before that pitch, that was huge. First baseman Spencer Henson gathered the infield to try to hype up Edmond. Says, don't worry about it. Those 2 runs don't even matter. Let's just get batters out. And Edmond, 2 straight sliders is locked in.
Well, of course, 2 called strikes. So he's ahead on the count. No balls and 2 strikes with no outs. Top of the 9th. Edmond staring into David Avitia, getting the call. He's set. Now he deals. This one's lined out into right center field. That'll fall for a base hit and maybe more. 1 run is in Ryan Cook. Rounding third and heading for home is Grant Wood. And this game is now within 2. A 2 RBI double for Evan Berkey brings the Oilers up to 6 runs. It's the Miners 8, the Oilers 6. As Malachi Edmond has given up 2 earned runs here in the top of the 9th inning. We do have some activity warming up in the Miners' pen. It looks like the right-hander Bryce Tossan. But Malachi Edmond, no outs here in the top of the 9th, has been struggling, and pitching coach Jeff Verlab will try to go out and calm down his star reliever.
And real just I keep using the word, but it's so true. Just some unfortunate, unlucky, I guess I should say, happenings for this Miners team, but they have to find a way. The best teams find a way to work their way out of it and get wins. They're still leading by 2, only 1 man on. Malachi Edmond has been trustworthy all season long. He knows he has the stuff. He just has to trust in his abilities.
Well, he's not going to have an opportunity to here as the call has been made. Bryce Tossan will come in to get the save now, and a save opportunity here in the top of the 9th inning. It's the Miners 8, the Oilers 6. When we return, Bryce Tossan will look to shut down the Oilers and secure a Miners win. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio. So Bryce Tossan comes in looking for a save here in the top of the 9th inning. Malachi Emmons, a rough outing for him. Did not get an out recorded, allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, all were earned, and a walk. And the runner on second base would be his responsibility should he come around to score. Bryce Tossan so far today, he's coming in relief, but on the season, 2 losses to his record, a ERA of 2 in 8 games and 8 appearances. 9 innings pitched. The first pitch into him is a ground ball over to Swift, who looks to third, fires over to first, and that's going to be the first out. So Ryan Novus retired on a 6-3 putouts. 1 pitch, 1 out for Bryce Tossan, as he's 1/3 of the way to securing a save.
And that's huge right there. Swift made the smart play. Could have maybe thrown on a third to possibly get the tag out, but just made the smart play. Finally get that first out in the inning that we've been waiting for.
Well, that run would not be the winning run, but the tying run is at the plate, and John McKay, as the fastball misses inside, bounces off the glove of Avitia, but he's able to secure it, doesn't go too far. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes with 1 out in the top of the 9th inning. Miners 8, Oilers 6, as 2 runs are in. Tossan's delivery. This one's flied back. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. McKay so far today had a RBI double, a single, a fly out to right field, and then grounded out to third base. Tossan with 13 strikeouts on the season, as this one is grounded onto the left side and foul. He's ahead on the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Okay, was sort of a half-hearted swing there. He seemed fooled by the curveball, and by the time his bat was already through the zone, it was hitting the ball in foul territory.
So the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. Tossan's pitch swung on, ground ball near first base in foul territory. That one's going to be called foul. Little extra as the coach, Rolando Sanchez, finds a nice Miners fan. That's a good gesture. Hands the ball off, but we're back to business. 1 ball and 2 strikes to John McKay. The pitch, did he go? He did not. McKay holds his swing, as first base umpire Mark Anthony Edwards is not so generous for the Miners.
That's all there really is to say about that. I guess he didn't go if the umpire said he didn't.
The 2-2 from Tossan in the dirt, and this one bounces away from Vitia. 1 run will come in to score. This game is 1 run away from being tied. Tossan's pitch bounces into David Avitia. They have scored 3 runs here in the top of the 9th inning. It's now the Miners 8, the Oilers 7. And everyone who is here is up on their seats as nerves have kicked in. 2-2 to John McKay. And 3 runs, all earned, are in. The pitch, taken on the outside corner, strike 3 called. So Bryce Tossan is able to retire 2 Oilers here in the top of the 9th inning, and will have to retire Bryce Big L to get the save.
And you just said it. He has retired 2. That's the biggest thing. All he needs is to set down 1 more batter, and then the Miners can just forget about what may have just happened that may have not gone in their way and extend this home game winning streak, which they know they want ever so desperately.
First pitch, it rides inside, almost hits Big L, but it did not, so 1 ball and no strikes. A big game here for the Miners. A win, they're at the top of the ABL. A loss, well, they're a game and a half back, as the second pitch misses low and inside from Tossan.
Yeah, really, it's both teams. As this is heating up, we'll have the big 5-game series here in a few weeks against the Oilers on the road at their place. So the Miners want to protect home field advantage here right now.
The 2-0 underway, swung on and fouled off for strike 1. And you said the 5-game series, that's going to start on the 4th of July and run all the way through Sunday, July 8th. And now the third base coach, Kyle Brown, would like to talk to his batter, Bryce Bigell. Count sits at 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs. 3 runs are in the top of the 9th, but the Miners still lead this one 8-7. Manager Ben Taylor has been tossed. Miners down to 2 coaches in the dugouts. The 1-2. This one line drive over to Drew Swift on a hop. He fires high to first, and he cannot make the tag. Spencer Henson tried to come down and make the tag. Swift's throw is high, and this game will continue with the winning run coming to the plate in Michael Yorg. Pinch hitting for Matthew Kirk.
Now the 3rd error tonight for the Miners. Just a little sloppy out there. Need to relax. Maybe a lot of tension as we see a new man in the box. But luckily for them, that runner is on first. They just seem to stay calmed and relaxed and get that 3rd out.
And that's what, well, it looks like pitching coach Jeff Verlab is going to have a conversation with Brad Polk before heading out to the mounds. Not sure what that exchange might have been. Maybe just clarifying that that's Yorg. And it is. So the tying run is on base. Winning run is at the plate. Bryce Bigell reaching with a error by Drew Swift, who fired too high. Henson had the ball, tried to come down and tag him out, but was unable to do so. Ball came loose in his glove. Not Alex Rodriguez-esque. There was no hitting the ball out of the glove. But nonetheless, there's a runner on first for the Oilers with Michael Yorg at the plate. So York comes in to replace Matthew Kirk, who walked, grounded back to the pitcher, and struck out. Also grounded out to the pitcher again as the first pitch into York's on the outside corner for strike 1. Michael York batting 184 on the season. Final stat line for Emmons, 3 runs allowed on 2 hits. Second one is a swing and a miss. Tossan gets York swinging through the off speed as he's 1 strike away from securing the save and getting the Miners at the top of the ABL. A long look into Avitia, dangling the arm. He's at the stretch, ready to go. The 0-2 in the dirt. 1-2 the count, 2 outs, top of the 9th inning. Winning run at the plate, tying run at first. Miners 8, Oilers 7.
And all these Miners fans are holding their breath right after every pitch.
Toss in, the 1-2. Looked at, strike 3 called, and the ball game is over. The Matsu Miners secure the win. Bryce Tossan with the save, and the winning pitcher, Brady Corrigan. It's the Miners 8, the Oilers 7, and some late game dramatics are held at just that. Does not come a reality. So Brady Corrigan went 5 1/3, 5 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 3 walks and a strikeout, gets the win here against the Peninsula Oilers. The Miners now go a half game up on the Oilers as they move the record to 12-8. Oilers now sit at 12-9. Manager Ben Taylor has come back out, shakes hands with Kyle Brown, the head coach, and a nerve-wracking, but good win for the Miners. Be sure to stay tuned for the post-game show. We'll have the interview with the manager, Ben Taylor, and we'll talk about the end of the game. So, once again, your final, the Miners 8, the Oilers 7. For Brad Walker, I'm Connor Mills, signing off.